The teams are in the tunnel here at Anfield as this crowd awaits. And how nervous are those Accrington players in that tunnel right now? Are they likely to be anywhere near calm?
No. I mean, there's one thing when the players come out to warm up and you're on the other side of the pitch and you look across as they did. It's another thing when you stood next to him. A lot of the time as well, you probably go, wow, he's bigger than you thought. So it's just, once you get out, as they now starting to walk out, the realisation hits that actually you are a footballer. Let's get down to business.
Trent Alexander-Arnold leading out this Liverpool side. He's the captain for the day. Could it possibly be the last time he wears the captain's armband for Liverpool Football Club? It's Liverpool Accrington. They talk about cup magic. This will be more of a cup miracle if the League Two side get through this. Your commentary on Talksport from FA Cup finalist Dean Ashton alongside Sam Matface.
Well, the Liverpool players have been downing their pints of milk whilst their opponents clearly chose a very different beverage because, after all, they're playing for Accrington. Stanley. And before today, the connection between these two clubs was limited to that 1989 advert that amassed millions of views by a new audience this week and a few weeks in the run-up on YouTube. 86 places in the Football League pyramid separate the best team in Europe and the team hovering above the relegation zone in League Two. But Liverpool have made 8 changes from their team that lost at Spurs, and their last 2 performances have suggested they need a bit more cow juice. Accrington Stanley, well, who are they? Situated 33 miles from Liverpool, north of Manchester, the current club reformed in 1968. They've risen from the Lancashire Combination League to the Football League, largely under the stewardship of John Coleman over a 25-year tenure. But there's a new man at the helm now, an Everton season ticket holder, John Doolan, who has coached in Scotland, at Wigan and at both the Liverpool and Everton academies before becoming the first team coach in 2017 at Accrington. He's now the boss and he's been scouting Liverpool, laughing about it at the same time. He did say to his assistant manager Jed Brennan, I know how to get at them, Jed, I know how to get at them. I'm sitting there smiling to myself because I'm thinking I can see it, but can we actually go and deliver it? And that is the very difference between a League Two side and taking on a Premier League team. Do they really have a chance to upset the team that are top of the Premier League and top of the Champions League? Well, this is the FA Cup. Exactly. 8 changes from the defeat at Spurs for Liverpool. Accrington have won the last 2. They're unchanged from their victory at Colchester. So it's Caoimhin Kelleher, the Liverpool goalkeeper, Alexander-Arnold, Quansah, Endo and Tsimikas the back 4, Elliott, Morton and Szoboszlai in midfield, he's back from illness, Jota, Nunez and 16-year-old Rio Engamoa, who's making his first start and becomes the second youngest Liverpool player of all time. Billy Crellin is on loan from Everton. He is the Accrington goalkeeper. Woods, Josh Woods that is, will play at right wing back. Donald Love, formerly of Sunderland and Manchester United. Ferran Rawson, Zach Orr and Ben Woods make up the back 5. Company and Dan Martin holding in midfield, with Hunter playing in the 10 behind Worley and Tyler Wharton, who has 3 goals in his last 2 FA Cup appearances. This is one of 11 FA Cup games that are taking place on the Talksport network over the course of the weekend. Here live on Talksport and Talksport 2. We've got Bristol City Wolves currently ongoing over on 2. Later we have games involving Chelsea, Manchester City, Leeds. Tomorrow Tamworth, Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester United. So much football, you need an app for that. Luckily we've got one of those too. Type in Talksport, get a world of entertainment. Dean Ashton is here. You've been involved in an FA Cup final. You're also in the Crewe team that got a draw at Everton in 2002 and took them back to Crewe and scored the opening goal. So what's running through the minds of these Accrington Stanley players now?
Well, first of all, it's getting over that rendition of You Never Walk Alone, getting down to the fact that you're a professional footballer and you're up against some of the best players. And that, I hark back to the game against Everton, up against David Weir and Alan Stubbs, and that first encounter you have shoulder to shoulder and realising you're just a weak little boy against these incredible athletes. And that's what they'll get, these Accrington players, those first moments, the first sprint against a player, the first physical contact, the first sense of how good these Liverpool players are. But you've got to try and be calm and play your own game, because they'll have worked a lot on these Accrington players, and you've got to try and remember what the manager wants.
Adrenaline flowing through their bodies. Lewis Smith is the referee. He's just blown the whistle because the ball's gone out for a thrown over on the far side. There's a little bit of snow still on the side of the pitch here at Anfield. Accrington in blue shirts, white shorts, Liverpool in the red, and they're coming forward down the left-hand side. Across comes Ferran Rawson, who gets there ahead of Dominic Szoboszlai and covers the ground really well and pushes it out into the left wing position and away for a throw-in to Liverpool. It was a lot of misplaced passes in the first couple of moments as Accrington tried to put pressure on the ball. Rio Engamoa comes and collects it on this left-hand side for Liverpool, tries to get it into the penalty area, but he's stopped from doing so by a combination of Donald Love and Josh Woods, and it goes out for a throw-in down in front of us. We're high up in the main stand here on a very chilly, freezing cold afternoon in the FA Cup third round at Anfield. Ball tossed back by Tsimikas to Endo. Remember, Liverpool ended up losing their second game of the season against Tottenham in midweek. They've made 8 changes since then, and that was in the Carabao Cup semi-final. This in the FA Cup third round, and it's the second meeting between Liverpool and Accrington Stanley. The original Accrington Stanley, who collapsed in 1962. They played in the third round in 56. Liverpool won here 2-0. Billy Liddell with 2 goals. And they're on the attack here early on. Here's Engamoa down the left-hand side, getting into the penalty area, trying to take on the fullback down the left side of the box. Plays it back to Tsimikas, who's crossed into the area. He's aimed towards Nunez. It's headed away by Ben Woods, and then up towards Worley, and then sent long towards the right-hand side. Actually, if they'd sent it to the left, they were in better shape. And across goes Tyler Wharton, puts a little bit too much physical pressure on Wataru Endo, and it goes out for a free kick to Liverpool just in front of their penalty area on the left-hand side. But should they have switched it out to Ash Hunter?
Oh, they should have done, yeah. Ash Hunter was free on that opposite side if he'd have just been played in. Went to play it beyond Endo towards Tyler Wharton. Endo just did enough to get his body across and create the contact there for the free kick. But they've got a good shape, Accrington Stanley, with those 5 across the back and then 3 in the middle with just the 2 forwards that'll split. And they're just trying their best to stop that ball going in towards Alexander-Arnold, who's gone into a midfield position, as we see so often.
And that game that I mentioned in 1956 between the original Accrington Stanley and Liverpool, actually Liverpool were really generous that day. They played in yellow so that Accrington could play in red, because they're known as the Old Reds. Here is Szoboszlai chasing down the left channel, trying to get on the end of the ball. Across comes the goalkeeper Billy Krellin, the young goalkeeper from Everton, who is on loan. He's actually trained a lot with the first team at Everton, and he's used to playing against this calibre of players. He said this week, it's the type of player that I've had to come up against in the Everton first team training sessions I've been involved in. 5 minutes played, Liverpool 0, Accrington 0. Live on Talksport this lunchtime. The ball played left towards Kostas Tsimikas, just short of the halfway line. Gives it back to Endo. Endo strolling forward, looking up. This is the 145th season of the FA Cup, and the final will be at Wembley in 134 days' time. Liverpool will be hoping to be involved in that, but they've got a lot of work to do before they get there. This is Engamoa, long and rangy, as he tries to skip his way past a couple of challenges, wanders into midfield and lays it off to Tyler Morton, left by Jota. Szoboszlai try to get there. Donald Love comes across and clips it out over to the far side, where Trent Alexander-Arnold controls it beautifully, takes it down and rather nonchalantly restarts the Liverpool build-up.
Yeah, excellent from him. And as a Liverpool player, you want this done and dusted as quickly as possible. You don't want it to go further into the game, into the second half, and the anxiety lift here.
Jota moving through the gears and trying to go past the big bulky figure of Nelson Kumbeni. He manages to get a decent tackle in and steer it to halfway. It bounces back to Szoboszlai, who sends it square. Collected by Alexander-Arnold, is back in a midfield position. Wider onto Elliott. Elliott gets it on the edge of the area, tries to take it back into Alexander-Arnold. He then turns it infield to Morton, round the corner to Jota. A little poke into the path of Nunez, but he felt he got a little push in the back there, Diogo Jota, from Zach Orr. Referee said play on. And again, there was another opportunity just to spring a counter-attack there for Accrington Stanley. Didn't quite come off. They'll get one. Here is Tsimikas into the box, deep cross. Here's Elliott at the far post, steers it centrally, Nunez over the bar. Heading the ball as he stooped down in front of the net away to our left-hand side as the ball came back in from Elliott after a hopeful cross from the left-hand side.
I mean, it was brilliant from Tsimikas. He just spotted the run of Elliott, who then slid and half-volleyed it back across towards Nunez. Really, really difficult, this, for the big striker. He's almost gone ahead of the ball, and it's behind him slightly, and it's quite high. He's tried to manoeuvre his neck muscles to head it down. He couldn't quite do it. Wouldn't really put a lot of blame on Nunez there because of how quickly the ball came across.
Yeah. First opportunity really to get the ball into the box for Liverpool. Tsimikas with the ball to the far post. Elliott managed to steer it back centrally towards Nunez, and it was cleared away after the ball had gone over the top from the goal kick. And now we're back with Liverpool in possession. Jarell Quansah in the heart of his own half. 7 minutes played. Liverpool 0, Accrington Stanley 0. Live on Talksport. Remember, Liverpool actually failed to win their last 2 games, which is certainly unlike Arne Slot and his team. Haven't been up to the level that you have come to expect of them. This was a team that produced a performance of less intensity in the press at Tottenham. They looked a little jaded, too many unforced errors. And they expect a simpler victory this afternoon. They've just lost the ball over on the far side, won by Dan Martin. Gets it back to his goalkeeper Krellin, who's just shanked the ball into the sky, headed forward by Woods. Martin, Ben Woods again has it. It's juggled with by Martin, good skill by him, and then he lays it back into the feet of Billy Krellin, and this time his clearance is much better. He's put it into the inside right channel. Endo goes across, reads it well in front of Tyler Wharton, who they signed from Southport in the summer, and it goes all the way back to Caoimhin Kelleher. Liverpool playing out, have to deal with a little bit of a high press here from Accrington, and then the ball back from Tsimikas just puts Quansah into a spot of bother. He does well enough to get it to Elliott, and then sliding in to win the ball back was Tyler Wharton, but there was a foul over on the far side involving Ben Woods, and the free kick goes Liverpool's way, and then Woods is out of position and Jota is trying to scamper clear, but Elliott's ball is going to float out of play. It just escapes off the turf and goes out for a throw into Accrington.
Yeah, I thought they did well there in terms of their press, Accrington. They recognised that Liverpool didn't have good possession and went to press high. Yes, you might leave a little bit of space, but I don't mind that, I think, early on. And also, the only thing I would say is Krellin, when he shanked that clearance, I think what you don't realise is how athletic these players are and how quickly they close you down.
2 goals in the early exchanges down at Ashton Gate, live on Talksport 2. And it's Bristol City 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. We thought this game was going to be the one that was going to be one-sided, but that one appearing to be so. Here is Sean Worley chasing with Endo. 2 goals at the weekend, a massive, massive red. Loves Liverpool, be delighted to be playing here. He'd like to get a goal this time. He had one chalked off on his last visit with Shrewsbury 5 years ago. Elliott under pressure, playing it back towards Quansah, then all the way back to Caoimhin Kelleher. Accrington, who have had a upturn in form in their last couple of matches and won the last 2 games, having gone 7 league matches without a win before that. They are in a transitional period as they move from John Coleman and his players to the new setup under John Doolan.
No surprise though, is it? Before this game they happened to get 2 great results when players are desperate to start this game.
Not to you, after what you were telling us earlier on. You know, our players like to put themselves in the shop window at just the right time. Isn't that called making your run into the penalty box at the exact right time?
Lampard-esque.
They beat Grimsby Town, and Colchester United lifting the club away from the foot of the League 2 table and inject a little bit of confidence in the camp again ahead of their trip here. Currently 19th in League 2, 25 points from 23 games, 15 points off the playoffs, 5 points above the relegation zone. Here is Jarell Quansah and the Liverpool team that are dominating the landscape both domestically and European-wise at the moment. Played out towards the right-hand side. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Quiet atmosphere at Anfield this afternoon, but Liverpool might rev that up with an attack here. Jota going down the outside on the right side for Liverpool. Plays it back to Elliott. Elliott into the centre. Szoboszlai touches it forward. Not the greatest of passes. It's cut out and it's cleared away. And now a chance for Worley to try and run in behind, and they just couldn't get the ball beyond Endo. The idea was right, but they just couldn't squeeze it over the top of the Liverpool defence.
That's what they're targeting though, isn't it? Every time they get it, it's looking towards Endo's side to try and get in behind Endo. It just hasn't worked yet.
Engamoa on this left-hand side trying to take on loads of blue shirts. He's managed to do it as well and fit it down towards the left, towards Tsimikas. Hunter goes in and slides past Tsimikas. He then wanders past Woods, gets into the penalty area. It's left for Trent Alexander-Arnold, who cracks it goal as it's safe. Then Nunez turns and fires it over the top of the crossbar from 12 yards out. Well, first of all, it was a brilliant move, a lovely step over as the ball was slipped across the edge of the box towards Trent Alexander-Arnold. His shot was saved by Billy Krellin, and when it came back to Nunez, everybody thought the net was going to bulge.
Well, I can't stick up for him this time. It's a wonderful opportunity. First of all, Trent strikes it brilliantly, and Billy Krellin makes an excellent save with his right foot. Back out towards Nunez, he takes a very decent first touch when it ricochets towards him. And then all he's got to do is just keep his body shape and keep it down. He just lashes at it, cuts across it, up and over the top from the penalty spot. No excuse for that.
You're listening to Talksport, and we'd like to welcome our listeners across North America on Sirius XM FC, wherever you are in that country. Thank you very much for choosing us this afternoon live from Anfield. Liverpool 0, Accrington Stanley 0. We've played 12 and a half minutes live on Talksport. Ball is sent out towards the far side by Liverpool. Have had the best chances but haven't converted yet, and there has been just a little sniff of a threat from Accrington on the break. They don't usually get their noses bloodied in the FA Cup, Liverpool. Their last third round exit came against Wolves in 2019 away from home, and Wolves are also the last non-Premier League team to beat Liverpool in the FA Cup. We were here back in January 2017 when they won in the fourth round. But Accrington are on the hunt. Worley down the left-hand side. He's got Hunter waiting in the centre. Worley with a chance to cross. It takes a deflection, comes through to Woods, back into the 6-yard box, but it's Liverpool players who have funneled back in, and Szoboszlai manages to clear just in front of that 6-yard area and clears it out towards this near side. Good Accrington move.
Well, whether it's the Premier League side or Accrington Stanley, you should still take advantage of the gap that's left when Alexander-Arnold's in midfield, and that's what they did. Worley did brilliantly just to get down that side, cut inside with a strike that was deflected off a Liverpool head. And then when it came to Josh Woods, he's just got to have a little bit more composure. Gumbeni was there and he just needed to head it towards him. He just headed it back across and Liverpool were there.
Jota sends it forward to Elliott. Liverpool on the attack now. Elliott towards this left-hand side. Rio Engamoa sends it back through the 18-yard box when really probably would have been better shooting. It goes right out the other side and Elliott just about keeps it in. He delivers a crossfield pass out towards Tsimikas, who's 10 yards back from the edge of the area, then funnels towards the halfway line, and it's back with Endo once again. 14 gone, 0-0, but there have been chances here. Bristol City are behind against Wolves by 2 goals to 0 in the opening exchanges there. Elsewhere, there are other games this lunchtime kicking off at 12 o'clock. Birmingham lead Lincoln by a goal to 0. Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 0. They're the latest score lines, and we'll keep you up to date here with anything that changes. Leicester's game kicks off at 2 o'clock, I think, this afternoon. We'll keep you in touch with that. Here is Jarell Quansah skipping away from the attentions of Dan Martin, who came through the youth system at Accrington Stanley. And actually, today in one of the papers, Conor O'Brien, who's one of the substitutes today, said he's the best ball-playing midfield player he knows. He keeps it tidy and simple, but he's a bit of a party animal, is Dan Martin. He loves a night out. We'll have a night out if they can inspire a victory here today. Here's Engamoa trying to tease his way to the edge of the area. Shows a bit of skill. Sets it up for Szoboszlai. He sends it back down to Tsimikas. 2 players converge on Tsimikas and deflect the ball behind. And it goes out for a corner away to our left-hand side.
Made a bright start, hasn't he? The 16-year-old Engamoa. A couple of nice dribbles and confidence to go at the Accrington defence. Just open the space up then for Tsimikas to get down the side. Excellent defensive work though from the Accrington defenders.
Here's the corner near side in front of the Anfield Road end away to our left. It's Szoboszlai to elevate the ball into the box. Farham Rawson, the central defender, the former Derby central defender, heads the ball clear. Goes back out to Szoboszlai, skips away from Worley, who just tugs him down and gives away a free kick. And that's about 10 yards diagonally back from the left edge of the penalty area for Dominic Szoboszlai. It'll be Tsimikas who whips this into the box for Liverpool to try and create something.
Yeah, Wally's disappointed in himself because he read the check back from Szoboszlai, but then the ball just bobbled away from him and grabbed the shirt. It's another set-piece situation that you have to be switched on.
Tsimikas lining it up. There's a two-man wall away to our left-hand side. Liverpool have won a lot of games this season, more than any other team in Europe's top 5 leagues, but we've played 16 minutes here and it has been competitive. Here's Tsimikas' delivery deep to the far post and turned behind by Dan Martin, and it's out for a corner over on the far touchline for Liverpool. You're listening to Liverpool 0, Accrington Stanley 0 in the FA Cup Game Day Live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Look, there's no doubt when you look at the clock as a player and you're past that 15-minute mark that it's going to give you a boost. It has to, as an Accrington Stanley player. Got to check off these little markers if you can.
Here is the corner in by Nunez towards the near post, away by Worley. Morton keeps it alive by heading the ball out to the far side for Liverpool. Tsimikas sends it back into Elliott. Elliott, who's deep but plays it towards the right. Nunez chases. Farham Rawson follows him out into the right wing position. Liverpool on the attack again. 17 and a half gone on Talksport. It's 0-0. Ball back to Elliott, right side. Left-footed crossfield pass into Alexander-Arnold. It drops out of the sky, and it was a bit of a loopy one, so he had to go back rather than forward. And now he gets it off Tsimikas, turns the ball infield, tries to play a lovely pass into Nunez, which is cut out by Zach Orr, who was retreating on the edge of the 18-yard box. And now a chance for them to break again. Martin brings the ball down. Worley sends it back into Ben Woods, up to halfway. Worley into Ash Hunter, skips past the challenge, plays it through Szoboszlai. They send it round the corner beautifully. Kabuni has found Worley inside the penalty area. He sends it across the 6-yard box. Tsimikas heads it over the top of the crossbar, and it goes out for a corner, the first of the game for Accrington Stanley.
Beautifully worked move, wasn't it? Kumbeni with a great little knock over the top for Worley, who'd made that run into that space once again that Alexander-Arnold leaves. Elliott couldn't get back, and then when he plays it in, Tsimikas has got a great positioning right in the middle of the 6-yard box, so he can either step forwards or step back, and he just steps forward and heads it over the top. Otherwise, Walton would have been there just to tap home.
And they work at their set pieces and they score a lot of goals from them. This is towards the far post, and out comes Kelleher. Didn't get enough on it, but I think the referee's going to give him a free kick here. And he is. I think he felt he was challenged by Josh Woods unfairly, and it is going to be a free kick. Talksport is your home of the transfer window. Mr. Deadline Day himself, Jim White, and our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, bringing you unrivaled coverage throughout the course of the month. You can watch their new show on our YouTube channel every Tuesday and Friday. It's called Talksport's Transfer Notebook. It's also available as a podcast on our app. For more information and the latest rumours, they are on our website, talksport.com. It's that time of the year.
Well, so far, there's enough encouragement there, isn't there, for Accrington Stanley? Worley in particular, maybe that bit of experience that he's got and his awareness of where that space might be. He's done well a couple of times now to get into that space that's been left by Alexander-Arnold.
He is about as old as you, isn't he? He's 37.
Not quite.
Nearly. But he is certainly someone who's got a lot of experience. He's been around the block a bit. Apparently keeps himself in tremendous shape. Mr. Professional. His body is a machine, I was told earlier this week. But at 37 years of age, he still manages to compete with some of the younger members of the squad.
I mean, he'll be invaluable to some of those young players, especially on a day like today. You know, he's had those experiences already throughout his career. This is all fresh and new to so many of the other players.
Ball deep inside the Liverpool half of the field. 0-0 the score, 20 minutes played now. They've ticked off another milestone. It's Quansah. A few of the Liverpool fans behind us getting just a little bit frustrated that Liverpool not moving the ball quick enough. Nunez trying to go down the left-hand side. He was fouled, I think, by Donald Love. The referee gives a free kick. And some of the coaching staff from Accrington Stanley not at all happy about the fact that Nunez has gone down so cheaply. John Doolan going over to have a word with him. Just giving him a little bit of jip down in front of us. Why not?
I mean, he was clattered, to be fair, by
Donald Love. Clattered in League Two senses or Premier League senses? There's two different types of clattering, isn't there?
A little bit of League Two in that, I think.
A little bit of League Two in that. Ngamoa down this left-hand side, trying to skip his way past Josh Woods. It's a throw-in. It's going to go Accrington Stanley's way. Or has it? No, it's not going Accrington Stanley's way. They've changed their mind. It's going to go Liverpool's way.
Well, I mean, it came off Ngamoa, didn't it? It was pretty obvious from our vantage point, that's for sure. But
right.
there hasn't been the intensity, has there, from Liverpool?
No.
You know, what you would want to expect at the start of the game for it to be too much for Accrington Stanley. It's been comfortable, really. Yes, there's been a couple of moments, but I don't think the intensity in the play has been there yet from Liverpool.
It has been a bit of a disruptive week for Liverpool. Their travel plans plunged into chaos on Wednesday night when they were coming back from Tottenham after their flight from London to Merseyside was forced to land in Birmingham instead. They were supposed to get to John Lennon Airport in Liverpool, but they had to reroute through the Midlands on a coach because of the worsening conditions overnight in the northwest as far as the weather was concerned. It's been very cold and icy in these parts over the course of the last few days. Accrington had to move into Liverpool's training ground yesterday to do a session because there were no available pitches in this area. They were the only ones that were available and workable. So everybody's been sort of a little bit disrupted over the last 48 hours or so. Underway in League Two, Walsall against Tranmere Rovers, and in Scotland, Ross County and Celtic have started. A win for Celtic will see them go 19 points clear of Rangers. I mean, crikey. Here is Ngamoa down the left-hand side, trying to skip past two challenges. The third one involves him sort of pulling back Ash Hunter. Then there's a little bit of a tangle involving Simicast, who sort of crawls over the top of Hunter, and the free kick is given to Accrington Stanley in the right full-back position.
Yeah, a couple of really nice moments for Ngamoa. Maybe just trying to do a little bit too much. You know, he did that first part really well, but then maybe he needs to get his head up. A couple of times he's just dribbled a bit too much.
Tyler Wharton trying to get down the right-hand side. He's just rushed his effort to get the ball into the box. Actually, he didn't need to get involved as early as he did there. He just stopped the ball from going in behind, and by touching it, he played Sean Worley into an offside position, so he had to chase the next touch with himself and ended up running out of room and giving it straight back to Liverpool.
But every single one of those moments where you think there's an opening, you've got to try to make the most of those. I mean, 83% of the possession for Liverpool. It's been more than comfortable in that sense, but frustration still with the pace of play.
Yeah, very slow. Cleven Kelleher's playing walking football at the moment, just tiptoeing out from the edge of his own penalty area, and he's been allowed to walk into the middle of the Liverpool half. Rather nonchalantly plays it left into Endo. Endo looks up, plays it square. Here is Szoboszlai. Kumbenik goes and tries to close down Szoboszlai, but the ball's gone out towards the right, and Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold's got it back again. He sends it over to the far touchline, collected by Elliott. Elliott back to Alexander-Arnold. They've been forced back by Accrington. There were about 20 coaches of Accrington Stanley fans boarded this morning. 4,700 fans flocking to Anfield. The tickets sold out in a flash, to a fan base that really has an average home gate of between 1,800 and 2,000 on a week-to-week basis at the Crown Ground. Here is Ngamoa on the attack for Liverpool down the left-hand side, jinking his way past a number of challenges, then playing it back to Morton. Then it's on to Szoboszlai on the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold, a low ball into the box which might bounce kindly for Elliott. It does. He touches it back to Alexander-Arnold, who's down the right side of the box with his left foot, tries a cross which deflects out of the area. There was a handball there. The referee didn't spot it. It might have been accidental. It came off Nunez. And Liverpool have got it back on the halfway line with Endo. Tries to float a ball out towards the far side. Dan Martin read that well, heads it out. It's away for a throw. 0-0.
Yeah, they're not committing themselves too much, Accrington, at the moment. Yes, Liverpool want them to. They're trying to draw them out of their positions, but they're being really disciplined and keeping that shape, and then asking the question of the Liverpool forward line to try and open them up. And that's about concentration and communication for as long as you can, I'm sure they will start to tire in this game.
It's good shape from Accrington. It's almost like two banks of four, then the one in Tyler Wharton dropping in there. Woods will drop into a further wide right position if necessary to make up a five. It's fluid, it's organised. You can tell they've been working on this to try and find a way to get something out of this game and be competitive against Liverpool. Here's Tsimikas into the box with a strong header at the far post. The ball is with Morton, who heads it across the 6-yard box. It's smuggled behind and it's out for a corner for Liverpool.
Yeah, really, Zach Orr should have headed that away. He was up against Jota at the back post and he was there first, and he had to go over his head. It was then headed back towards Krellin, who was chasing it, and then he just collided with Donald Love for it to go behind.
Here is the corner to be taken by Tsimikas on the near touchline. He's got quite a few to aim at. Left-footed, angles it towards the edge of the 6-yard box. The header is by Endo. It's well wide of goal, and it goes out for a goal kick. He hasn't started very often, Wataru Endo, but when he has done, it's been in the cup competitions. His last goal for Liverpool, December the 3rd, 2023. And that was some way off target from Endo. Kumbeni wants a little bit of treatment down in front of us.
Yeah, it was came off his shoulder, Endo, as he tried to head that. There wasn't a lot on the delivery from Tsimikas. Didn't have a lot of pace on it. It was curling away. Tried to arch back and head it. It's just come off his shoulder and just cushioned into the goal, just over the back of the goal.
We're seeing pictures on our monitor of Andy Holt, who is the chairman of the football club Accrington Stanley. Quite an interesting figure. He's just turned 60, I'm told, but he's very active on Twitter. He's very good at sort of communicating with the fans. Sometimes maybe a little bit too good at communicating with the fans. He can get involved in a few rucks as well on social media. Andy Holt. Here is Kwanzaa into Szoboszlai, won by Donald Love. A chance to break now for the away side, and Wharton has just taken the ball over the halfway line. He's run down the inside right channel, needs to try and find an outlet. There's someone behind him calling for the ball in the shape of Dan Martin, but he can't squeeze it back to him. It goes out of play and away for a throw-in on this near side. He did well enough to hold on to it. It might end up being a free kick, actually, just 5 yards in from the touchline. And a set piece in this sort of area is exactly what Accrington want. They work on these, they plan for these, and Engamoa has given away a free kick 5 yards in from the right touchline, wide on the right-hand side.
Well, I mean, in the end, he's got out of this with a free kick because he took too long. Tyler Wharton, there was the opportunity to play the pass down the side. He didn't. And eventually, Engamoa came across and sort of went to prod it away. And he took the bait and won the free kick.
Here's the free kick then to be taken on this near touchline. Ben Woods, left-footed, into the box, away by Tsimikas. Ash Hunter picks it up, and then it's sent forward again by Kumbeni, but it wasn't a great ball, and it was picked off by Szoboszlai. He immediately rushed it forward, and it's a lovely touch by Alexander-Arnold to send Nunez away, and waiting in the centre for a simple tap-in is Diogo Jota. It's 1-0 to Liverpool. There was a set piece at one end from Accrington. They didn't bolt the door at the other, and after giving the ball back to the Reds, well, they went rapidly through the gears. Out to the far right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold touching it on beautifully to Nunez. His cross into the box, straight through to Jota, who simply had a tap in from 6 yards to make it Liverpool 1, Accrington 0.
Oh, and you're just thinking, damn, we've left ourselves open. It was just an unusual ball from Kumbeni. Didn't quite know what to do, just floated it up onto the chest of Szoboszlai. Instant volley out towards Alexander-Arnold. First touch to Nunez, who was in behind, and he had the awareness and the ability then just to whip that across, knowing there's absolutely no way Diogo Jota was going to miss it. On the 6-yard line, just taps it home. You've opened yourself up slightly, Accrington Stanley, and you paid.
Well, Liverpool have won the last 20 games when scoring first since a Premier League draw against Aston Villa in May 2024. Finished 3-3 that game. They don't throw away points from winning positions in the Premier League, and you wouldn't expect them to throw this game away from this sort of position. 1-0 up against Accrington after half an hour, and Accrington's resistance has been broken. They had a moment. They had a couple of moments. They couldn't quite make them connect in the way that John Doolan, the Accrington manager, would have liked. And then Liverpool ruthlessly moved through the gears and punished them at the other end. And it's 1-0 to the Reds. Here is Zach Orr for Accrington. Gives the ball straight back to Alexander-Arnold. He in turn gives it to Worley. Worley looks up, tries to send Tyler Wharton in behind the defence, but he's blocked off by Tsimikas, and it bounces through to Caoimhin Kelleher away to our right-hand side.
And it's now just how does that affect you as players, Accrington Stanley, when the deadlock has been broken. You've had that feeling that you're getting into the game, and actually you've had a couple of moments, maybe contained Liverpool. All of a sudden you're behind. Can you continue in the same manner mentally once that's happened?
Because I'll go back to that game, which I think was 23 years ago that you played at Goodison Park, and you managed to get the draw. What were you feeling all the way through the game? Because you were sort of ticking off the quadrants, ticking off the quarter of an hours, just hoping that you could keep going and get them back to Gresty Road.
Well, of course, and the longer the game went on, the more chance you feel that if an opportunity falls, can we take it at that point? And then to take the lead in the return leg, but ultimately, eventually, the quality just tells, and so often at this level, even when you have good moments, a good first half an hour or so for Accrington, eventually the quality tends to shine through.
What did you think when you scored that goal that put Crewe in front in that second game?
Oh, at that moment, that was easily the biggest moment of my whole life. You know, the adrenaline that runs through you when you score a goal like that. I mean, Gresty Road was absolutely packed that night. I felt as if I was the Premier League striker, which I wasn't then at that point.
But you were about to be. Here on the right-hand side, the ball was Nunez. Nunez into Elliott. Elliott looking up, tries to feed it down the right side. Across comes Dan Martin to tidy up for Accrington, but Nunez is putting him under pressure, puts the ball out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Accrington boss John Doolan, big Everton fan. He's an Everton season ticket holder, attends whenever he can. He went to the 1995 FA Cup final win over Manchester United when Paul Rideout scored. He went to the 3-2 defeat to Liverpool in the Merseyside Cup final back at the end of the 80s. I think he'll be interested to see how David Moyes gets on in his second spell. We wish him all the best, David. 2.5 year contract signed today. He's now been confirmed as the new manager of Everton. It looks as if he will take them into the new stadium next year. Here is Quansah into Elliott. Space wide right for Trent Alexander-Arnold as Liverpool look to go in search of a second goal here. They lead by 1-0, courtesy of that strike from Diogo Jota. It's Tsimikas trying to nudge it forward. On to Jota, then back out to Ngamoa, who looks to try and just take the ball down the left touchline. He's blocked by, he was blocked by Donald Love, and the referee eventually gives the throw-in on this near side. And it's out for a Liverpool ball. Bristol City have got one back. Scott Twine with a goal in injury time at the end of the first half. It's Bristol City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. That's the latest scoreline from the other game, which is live on Talksport 2. It's also half-time at St Andrews, where Birmingham lead by 1-0. Half-time at the Riverside, where Middlesbrough 0-0 with Blackburn Rovers. Those games in the FA Cup. Ball through the middle looking for Jota. Jota doesn't reach it. Goes all the way through to Billy Crellin. And Accrington will clear. This is Talk Sport.
I mean, they're looking for that, aren't they, Liverpool? They want to try and draw out one of the three defenders, and then there's the deeper run, whether it's from Nunez or Jota or Szoboszlai, and then they're looking for Trent to find the pass. And you've just got to have so much concentration if you're in that back line, because you switch off for a second and then that run is beyond you, and they've got the quality to find the pass.
Quansah across to the back line to Endo. Endo back to Quansah again. Interesting to see how he gets on today. Jarell Quansah had to come off during the match against Tottenham with illness. Wasn't feeling particularly well. Substituted in the first half there. Ibrahima Konate came on. Konate, I think, was slated to start this game, but didn't end up being involved in the match day squad, which will be a bit of a blow for him because he's only just come back from injury. Hope there's nothing too wrong with him. Rotherham 0, Bolton 0, by the way, in League One today. And also in League 2, Walsall lead Tranmere by 1-0. How good have Walsall been this season, by the way? Absolutely bossing League Two. Kelleher deep inside his own half. 10 minutes to go before half-time. You're listening to Talksport, and we're live here in the FA Cup. The FA Cup, with all of the joys that brings, and we're lucky enough to bring you more commentaries than anybody else over the course of the weekend. Manchester City against Salford later on, 5:45. Really looking forward to that. Tomorrow, Tamworth. I'm off to Tamworth tonight. That's going to be a game, isn't it?
Oh,
on the plastic pitch. Against Tottenham.
Brilliant.
Tom Tonks with his long throws. I'm sure that they're really looking forward to that trip, Tottenham. Here is Jota down the left-hand side, scampering over halfway. He moves into an advanced position before he releases Tyler Morton. Morton flicks it on. Harvey Elliott inside the area, left-footed shot. Was a bit behind him when he struck it. It was straight into the arms of Billy Crellin. And Liverpool just turning up the temperature just for a moment there. And when they do put the speeders on, they race away from Accrington very quickly.
Yeah, it was Nunez that took away two defenders, and then Morton saw the space, made the run in behind that was flicked in by Jota. And then once he got to hit out to Harvey Elliott, he's so desperate to use his left foot. Actually, the space was then to drag it onto his right and take the strike. Instead, it was just deflected away.
Jota trying to thread the ball through the eye of the needle. Martin was there to stop it from going beyond Zakor, but it's won back by Tsimikas, forward by Love. He's given it to Tyler Morton, and Liverpool have possession once again. Ball's played forward but cut out by Love. Josh Woods into Kumbeni, and then forward up towards this right hand side but cut out by Endo. Ngamoa trying to scamper down the left. Across comes the challenge of Josh Woods, and it goes out for a throw-in on this near side. It remains 1-0 to Liverpool. This is Talk Sport.
Yeah, and again, yes, you're 1-0 down, but you've got to be happy with the way that they've competed so far, Accrington. Yet to really look at a genuine threat as such, but defensively, I've got to say they've been okay.
They've been okay, and it is only Liverpool 1, Accrington 0 in the FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. And there is a sort of misty haze that has settled over Anfield. There is a sort of cold, freezing fog which sort of settled over the ground earlier, and the sun just trying to burn that off now. And there is a little slither of sunlight peeking over the Kop stand away to our right-hand side. Gives it a rather sort of fascinating little look. A very crisp morning here on Merseyside. Liverpool just trying to progress down the right-hand side, but it's blocked by Zakor, who twists away from Darwin Nunez and then clips it up towards Tyler Wharton. It's over his head all the way through to Jarrell Quansah, and Liverpool look to build from the back again. This is Talksport live at Anfield, and it's a bit of a sedate atmosphere inside the stadium as well, isn't it?
It is. I mean, obviously they're waiting for the intensity to rise from this Liverpool team. It's not been a vintage performance by any means from Liverpool as yet. You've got a lot of players that are given an opportunity that haven't maybe played as much as they'd liked. It's been just a little bit rusty, the performance.
Yeah, it was always going to be a little bit disjointed. The look of the team, obviously one that hasn't played together very often. This is Tyler Morton from distance, striking from 30 yards, right over the top of the crossbar. Certainly haven't played together very often, this group. One or two coming back from injury and illness. One or two out of form at the moment. And then the 16-year-old making his debut in Liverpool red. So it's not a fluid lineup that you would expect a stellar performance from just yet. And you can get a stellar performance if you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning on Monday, though, because Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoy's OBE back together from 6 a.m. If you fancy something different on your morning commute, and Chris Evans is on from 6:30 on Virgin Radio. All you need to do to listen to both of those shows, download our app. You can flick between all of the News UK stations, including Talk Radio, Virgin Anthems, and loads more besides. Here is Nunez for Liverpool, trying to engender a bit of skill to take him beyond Dan Martin, and Zakor didn't really come off for him and goes back into midfield for Liverpool with Endo at the heart of the defence with Quansah playing it out to Trent Alexander-Arnold, trying to bobble the ball through to Nunez. It's cut out by Zakor and will be cleared away over on the left-hand side. Well, Arne Slot be a little bit frustrated that his team haven't really got going, or is that just a byproduct of making so many changes, do you think?
Possibly. I think he'd be a little bit disappointed in some of the level of performances from his players that haven't been able to really assert themselves on the game.
Here's Jota down the left-hand side, trying to get into the penalty area, pulls it through to Nunez. Nunez has got a lot of space on the far side for Alexander-Arnold, but he turns and shoots instead, hits the defender, spoons over the top and goes out for a corner kick. Is there a part of these Liverpool players that sit here thinking, well, if we need to turn it on or need to up it, we can?
Yeah, that's pretty normal. I mean, again, look, there'll be certain players. Nunez will be desperate to get goals, and Elliott wasn't happy there that Nunez was a little bit greedy with the way he swiveled and took the shot on that was deflected over. He wanted the pass. But then there'll be other players that want to just get through the game.
The score is Liverpool 1, Accrington Stanley 0 on Talksport. Here's Tsimikas into the penalty area. It's headed away by Kumbeni and then one by Morton, but actually it's going to fall kindly for Dan Martin, and he's going to launch it over the top for Ash Hunter. Hunter couldn't get it under control to run in behind, and Jarell Quansah came back and won it and spared Liverpool's blushes. There was a moment there, another one of those little glimpses of opportunity for Accrington that didn't really materialise into anything.
Yeah, and most of the time in League Two you'd think he would be away. Not the case against Premier League opposition.
Szoboszlai trying to poke the ball forward. Again, good defending by Accrington. Zach Orr involved there. Out goes Ben Woods. Didn't get a good touch on it. Zach Orr is there to save them once more. And then Woods goes across into the left full-back position. Hoists it clear. Is out for a throw-in. Level with the edge of the penalty area. 3 minutes to go before half-time. It's Liverpool 1, Accrington Stanley 0. Live on Talksport this lunchtime. Wherever you are up and down the country, be very careful when you are going out of your house, especially if you're in the north, where this morning I woke up to -6 temperatures. I don't know where you were last night, but I had to get the old scraper out and the de-icer.
I was up this way at my mum and dad's, and I think I've gone a bit soft being down south, honestly. Just wasn't ready for it.
You weren't?
No.
Oh, we'd already got the de-icer ready. The boy was he loves spraying the de-icer for some reason. I had to tell him at one stage, calm down, all right? You sprayed too much of it now. But we managed to clear the car of ice and then get on the road, but it was very slippy.
No, I'm that one that sits in the car and waits for it.
Oh, you're not?
I am, yeah.
Well, you're a proactive fella.
Nope.
Here is Ngamoa. Certainly is proactive. He is the 16-year-old down this left-hand side. Seen flashes of what he's capable of. Maybe sometimes trying to do a little bit too much to impress today. But certainly looks as if he's got a good future, and he's huge really for 16, playing on this left-hand side for Liverpool today, making his debut.
He's really kept the width, hasn't he? I'd like to see maybe a little bit more movement in towards Nunez, that run that the likes of Luis Diaz would make, sort of beyond the full-back. He's really kept the width. Well, he might be told to do that, but maybe like to see him be a bit more of a threat in behind there.
Ian Danter is going to bring you all the goals as they go in from the FA Cup this afternoon, the EFL and Scotland over on Talksport 2. Right now we've got Bristol City against Wolves. Wolves leading there by 2-1. Chelsea Morecambe is on at 3, and Leeds Harrogate at 5:45 tonight. And Dean Saunders and Jason Cundy bring you the full-time phone in 8 o'clock this evening. A chance to have your Cell National Radio after a huge day of FA Cup football. 03717 22 33 44 is the number to call. Well, it hasn't been a rip-roaring first 45 minutes, but I think Accrington Stanley have done themselves proud in that first 45 to stick in the game for as long as they did, and then when they did concede, it did come after they were on the attack at the other end, just left themselves a little bit open. There's been moments where they have threatened to test Liverpool's resolve. And Liverpool, who are coming forward now, almost got the ball through to Jota with a long ball through the middle of the Accrington midfield. It has run to Ngamoa, gets into the area, gets onto his right foot, shoots towards the near post. It's blocked by the defender, comes back out as far as Tyler Morton, then sent onto the edge of the box where Alexander-Arnold cracks a shot into the corner, and the captain of Liverpool for the day makes it 2-0 just before half-time with a cracking effort from the edge of the box across the goalkeeper and into the far corner. It's a terrific effort from Trent Alexander-Arnold, his second goal of the season. He was criticised last weekend for his performance against Manchester United. Everybody will be full of praise for that top hit from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's 2-0 Liverpool.
Oh, that's warmed everyone up. What a strike that is from Trent Alexander-Arnold. We just know he's got bundles and bundles of quality. in that right foot. When the ball just came across from Szoboszlai, he takes a touch out of his feet, and it's just the most outrageous strike. He doesn't lash at it. He just pumps his foot through the back of the ball and just lets it caress all the way past Krellin and right into the top corner. He's from a standing start. It's just brilliant. Kissing in off the far post and showing Accrington Stanley this is the level you're up against.
He turned round to the Kenny Dalglish stand, the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand, put his arms astride his body and just smiled, beamed at the crowd. And there's one or two, and I met a few of them outside the ground today, who are coming to Anfield for the first time. I met Reece and his dad Glenn, who came up to me and said that he was bringing Reece for the first time, a young lad, and he will be delighted to have seen his hero Trent Alexander-Arnold score a goal like that. An absolutely terrific moment for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and for those who are seeing Liverpool at home for the first time today. And Alexander-Arnold's just chipped the ball forward again. I think that was aimed to try and play in Diogo Jota. It didn't quite reach him and went all the way through to Billy Krellin, the goalkeeper. It is half-time and Liverpool lead by 2-0. They've lost only 2 of their last 29 games in all competitions, and they don't certainly look like losing this against League 2 Accrington Stanley. The goals from Jota and Trent Alexander-Arnold as Liverpool take a half-time lead. There were moments of promise for Accrington Stanley, but when Liverpool needed to up it, they did. And at the break, it's Liverpool 2, Accrington Stanley 0.
Yeah, 2-0 to Liverpool. They're in control. Let me tell you the cup ties that are off this weekend. Mansfield, Wigan, that'll be played on Tuesday, the 14th of January. So too will Preston against Charlton. And in the last hour or so, Leyton Orient Derby has been postponed as well. That will be played Tuesday, the 14th of January. But Liverpool in control here. Let's take a look at the half-time highlights in partnership with Carling.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling. Get your mates together and enjoy the match with Carling, the beer of football. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Well, Accrington did okay, Dean Ashton, didn't they? They did all right. But the game now feels totally lost. It's about a little bit of pride second half, unless they get a really early goal second half to make it interesting. And that stunner from Trent has killed them off, hasn't it?
It has. That's the thing that'll just, the body blow that Liverpool will have wanted before half-time. And also it's that sense of, wow, this is what we're up against. Even though actually we've defended okay, we've kept them pretty much as much as we can at arm's length, Liverpool. Ultimately, you give him a yard of space, that he's capable of something like that. That's what kind of means you drop your shoulders as an Accrington player to go, well, what are we meant to do? It's just a wonderful execution from Trent Alexander-Arnold. But at that point, before that goal, I actually think Accrington would have been thinking, actually, we've done all right. This is Anfield, and they've got a decent team out, and actually we've kept them to very little, and we've at times looked like we might be a little bit of a threat the other end, and then all of a sudden now you go in and it's like, I'm not sure. Yeah,
they had some breaks, didn't they? But they didn't make the right decisions on the breaks, and I think that's the huge difference, actually. When I watch lower league football and watch Premier League football, a lot of it is about strength and speed, but a lot is more about strength and speed in terms of decision making the right calls, and they just didn't make the right ones. And it was only like fractional, really, but they just didn't make the right decisions on the break.
Yeah, and against such a top side, if it's not perfect, then they get back and they're in position because of their athleticism. And actually, Endo did well on quite a number of occasions where he's read it before, certainly Wharton, because they were looking for that ball over the top of Endo, and he read it brilliantly a couple of times. And again, maybe Tyler Wharton up against Endo thinks, actually, he's surprising me how good he is, surprising me how he's reading the game and how physical and quick he probably is compared to what he's seen and watched when he's played in midfield. He's done well in those situations, but you're right, those tiny moments that have to be perfect when you're up against a team like Liverpool just haven't quite been there.
Yeah, so Liverpool's first was scored after an Accrington attacking set piece, wasn't it? And the ball went all the way back to his own half, to Farron Rawson, who's, by the way, the only bald player. I mean, is his head okay? Is he
well,
is it going to be cold?
Him and Arne Slot are basically the two out there without a hat on.
I mean, he's bone-chillingly cold, I've got to say, so I do worry about Farron Rawson's head. And he knocked a ball kind of over the top, but I know what he was trying to do, but he just didn't hit it far enough. I think he thought, I'll be a bit more delicate here because I'm playing at Anfield. just boot it so that somebody can try and run onto it, put it the other side, and then they've got no chance of coming back at you. And he was just a little bit too delicate with it, and Liverpool broken. What I will say about Nunez, because we'll talk about him in a second, I thought it was a great assist for Jota's finish, and that set Liverpool going.
Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent counter-attack, but we know that's what Liverpool are. That's what will probably frustrate John Doolan, is I'm sure they would have looked at that when they have their own set plays, is the quality and the speed in which they can break. But you're right, that ball that was just lofted in, didn't do anything, 3 passes, it's in the back of your net, brilliant cross from Nunez. And you kind of wonder with him, maybe he could be a wide player, because actually there's times when he makes better assists than he does score the goals himself.
He moved out to wide areas as the half progressed, and he did become more effective. Let's take a little look at Nunez, because he headed over, and it was a very difficult chance. That was early on. It looks, if you freeze it in a still, it looks like he should score, but it was more difficult than that. There was one he blazed over that he really at least has to hit the target. He should really score. Next thing I saw him do was lose the ball in his own half, and I just gave up. But, the assist was decent, but we're looking for a bit more from Darwin Nunez.
Looking for a lot more in that position against a team like Accrington Stanley. And, he just hasn't, again, maybe that lack of confidence, especially with the big chance that he had on the penalty spot, where you take a touch and you should just be finishing that at this level. And that's what I mean. I wonder whether he will eventually become a wide player, because you take away that pressure of being the 9 that has to maybe score the goals. I think he's an unselfish player, as he showed with the assist, and I think he has done throughout his Liverpool career that he's an unselfish player, because once again he doesn't look comfortable in front of goal as a 9.
Very quickly, we've got a Tyler Walton playing for Accrington. We've got a Tyler Morton in centre mid, a youngster for Liverpool, who I think has been the player of the match so far. Tyler Morton for Liverpool. I think he's certainly, as the half wore on, so halfway through the half, he got to grips with it all, understood what he was doing, knew he was wearing a Liverpool shirt, and he deserved to wear the Liverpool shirt. I thought he was breaking things up, using the ball really well, anticipating things. I've been seriously impressed with him.
Yeah, he's been excellent, and I think a lot have been sort of expected from him. He's had a couple of injuries, but also today he's showing why he's still a great prospect and why he's still at Liverpool, because I think he's got so much to offer in that position. And also, not only the defensive side and spotting the danger and keeping things moving in a nice way, he actually made a great run that got him behind, spotting that space that was there and making the run in behind to then pass it to Elliott, who had his chance saved. So it's been a really good half from him, because he'll expect himself to be involved more with Liverpool. Yeah,
he's played very, very well. But the show was stolen by Trent's cracker. As much as the Real Madrid scouts wondered what they were doing when they watched him against Manchester United last week, they'll look at that and think, oh yeah, we know what we're doing. Liverpool 2-up. That's thanks to Carling, 18+. Please drink responsibly.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18+, always drink responsibly.
So elsewhere in the FA Cup, Birmingham 1-up on Lincoln into the second half. Live on Talksport 2, it's Bristol City 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. That's on Talksport 2 right now in the second half. And Bristol City's goal from Scott Twine. Of course, it was a free kick from Scott Twine. That's got them back into it. Game on there. And Middlesbrough 0, Blackburn 0 into the second half at the Riverside. In Scotland, it's Ross County 0, Celtic 0. In League One, Rotherham lead Bolton by a 1-0. And Walsall are now 2-up on Tranmere Rovers. Tranmere's assistant manager is Neil Dans, the former Crystal Palace player. His son Jayden Dans is on the bench for Liverpool here this afternoon, where Liverpool are leading Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup third round by 2-0 live on Talksport.
The Emirates FA Cup live on Talksport with Carling.
What a driver, what a goal! Oh yes!
Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18+, always drink responsibly.
At William Hill Vegas, we're bursting with entertainment. Introducing V-Play, where revealing rewards couldn't be easier. Play your usual slots and table games featuring the V-Play icon. And when the V-Play bar's full, you're ready to spin the wheel for cash prizes. V-Play, only at William Hill Vegas, bursting with entertainment. For GBP online accounts, use cash balance to play. Chance to spin and win prizes from 30p to £1,000 randomly awarded. Spin and claim within 7 days. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gamble aware.
Meet Terry and Sue. When shopping for a new car, Sue likes to go online. Terry, he likes to give things a bit of a feel. Oh, cheeky. So that's why they're heading to one of Cinch's new stores, where buying a car is no faff. Sue can chill and check out the website, while Terry tickles the dash of hundreds of cars. Watch out, Sue. You'll never get him home now. With a 90-day warranty and 14-day money-back guarantee, Terry and Sue are cinching it. Buy online today or head to our store. Search Cinch Store for details. Mileage restrictions, terms and conditions apply.
Like to save on Aldi's fresh fruit and veg this new year? From just 29p, red grapefruits, red peppers, celery, sweet gem lettuce, and British salad potatoes and mini apples. Freshness guaranteed or your money back. In store now. Aldi, which cheapest supermarket 4 years running? Products and prices may vary, subject to availability.
Looking for a reason to plan your next trip? Well, Premier Inn has over 1 million rooms at £45 a night. So that's 1 million reasons to tick wild winter swimming off the bucket list. 1 million reasons to book in for a family visit to the theatre. And 1 million reasons to bond with your team away from the office. Do your thing. Get better sleep for your money. With over 1 million rooms for £45 a night. Book now at premierinn.com. Selected locations. Exclusions and T's and C's apply.
Look at him go.
He's a quality striker.
No, not him. The electrician fixing those lights.
Wow. Is he?
Yes, he uses QuickBooks to prepare for self-assessment.
This is truly game-changing.
Use QuickBooks year-round to ensure your income tax return is shock-free. That's how you business differently. Intuit QuickBooks.
Jill Scott here with the winning pass from Cadbury. You could be in with a chance to win the ultimate matchday experience. A choice of Arsenal, Chelsea FC, Leeds United, Manchester United or Tottenham Hotspur match tickets. Plus a luxury hotel stay and a chance to meet a legend. The full works. Best of all, you get to share it with 3 of your mates. Who will you share it with? Buy a pack to enter.
UK only 18 plus. Visit thewinningpass.cadbury.co.uk to enter and for full T's and C's and price details.
Yes! I just can't believe it.
This time tomorrow, you could be a millionaire. Get your lotto ticket for tonight's draw. The National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
The magic of the FA Cup continues this Sunday with a sorcerous selection of 2 spellbinding 3 p.m. kickoffs. Wave your wand left for Arsenal versus Manchester United on Talksport, or swipe it to the right for Newcastle versus Bromley on Talksport 2. Enchanting FA Cup third-round football for all on Talksport and Talksport 2.
Live on Talksport, indeed. How long have I worked here? At Anfield, it's Liverpool 2-0 up against League 2, Accrington. Trent's goal was an absolute cracker. Let's go around some ground, shall we? Let's go to the King Power. Leicester take on Queen's Park Rangers. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff in the FA Cup, third round. And Jeff Peters, conditions are a little bit different, I think, at Leicester, right?
Yeah, it's really foggy inside the stadium. This could be a concern with only 45 minutes until kick-off. But we do have the team news, assuming the game does go ahead. And Leicester have gone strong. Just 3 changes from the match at Villa, their 5th defeat in a row. Christensen has recovered from illness. He and Fass return in defence. Vestergaard is injured and Thomas benched. And Buonanotte is preferred to Ayew. Jamie Vardy starts on his 38th birthday. By contrast, QPR, 6 wins in the last 10 in the Championship, changed more than half their side. Ronnie Edwards, on loan from Southampton, makes his first start. Only a 5th club appearance for goalkeeper Joe Walsh. Clark Salter, Madsen, Sato and Coley also come in. But this fog really is a worry here at the King Power Stadium ahead of Leicester and QPR.
Jeff, thanks very much. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff. Leicester take the fog with them, don't they? Boxing Day here at Anfield, there's a big fog, but the game was on. I've seen pictures of the King Power Stadium, and it is incredibly foggy, so we'll keep you in touch with that one. Let's go to Carrow Road. Norwich take on Brighton at 3. Ian Danta is there. He's going to be taking you around the grounds this afternoon, Dance, for the games that are left.
Yes, I'm you. This afternoon, no pressure, right?
I can only apologise, mate. Seriously.
Well, I've been to the toilet early, so hopefully my bladder can last the afternoon the way that yours does. Yours is cast iron, I'm telling you. But
thanks,
yes,
Doctor.
there are some games left in the FA Cup. You're right, and this one seems to have gone under the radar. This one I'm at this afternoon with Mike Sewell, Norwich against Brighton. It's the only one where you've got the Premier League side travelling to a difficult fixture at a club in a lower tier. So Norwich, with that extraordinary comeback against Coventry, Amankwa Folsom with those 2 late goals, they're coming into this on a bit of a high. I think Jonas Torup's been accepted by the Norwich fans. They seem to be doing okay, although they could be pushing higher. And Brighton not on a great run, as you know, Adrian. So this could be where a shock happens this afternoon, potentially.
Yeah, they're struggling to get a win under Fabian Hertzler. And there's interesting ties elsewhere. So Plymouth going to Brentford, and obviously Plymouth have changed manager. And also in that boat, Luton, Rob Edwards has gone. They go to Forest, and a lot will depend on the side Forest pick.
Yes, and I'm sure Forest will have more than one eye on what happens on Tuesday, because they've got Liverpool coming to the City Ground in midweek. So Nuno would be forgiven for making wholesale changes. So that might give Mick Harford and Luton, something to grasp hold of, seeing as Mick's taking temporary charge after Rob Edwards has gone. I don't think the Plymouth manager's taking charge today, is he? He's going to be in the stands. I think Kevin Anseville is still going to be taking charge of the Pilgrims for their cup tie at Brentford. Chelsea against Morecambe live on Talksport 2. That's another, David against Goliath. And maybe Reading against Burnley could be... Adrian Clark's there for us today to watch that game. And maybe Reading, under Noel Hunt, might be able to spring a surprise against Scott Parker's Burnley. That's another League One against Championship encounter to look forward to.
Ian, great stuff. Looking forward to listening to that as I make my way over to Tamworth for the Tottenham game tomorrow, which we've got live on Talksport. Cannot wait for that. Here at Anfield, teams are back out for the second half. Liverpool in command. They're 2-0 up against League 2 Accrington Stanley, who need an early goal. Here's Dean Ashton and Sam Matchface.
And a couple of changes at half-time for the visitors. Liam Coyle and Alex Henderson are on for Comboni. And for their Ash Hunter, and also coming onto the pitch, Federico Chiesa is replacing Dominic Szoboszlai, who had 45 minutes after coming back from illness, so he's got some minutes in his legs and some air in his lungs. And Chiesa, who's only made 4 appearances since signing in the summer, is on the pitch. And Liverpool are underway at the start of the second half in red shirts, red shorts and red socks, attacking the goal away to our right hand side, and Accrington Stanley in blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks, attacking the goal to our left. And Kelleher is the Liverpool goalkeeper, the back for Alexander-Arnold, Quansah, Endo and Tsimikas. In midfield, Elliott. Here's Nunez inside the area, taking the ball away from Ferran Rawson, trying to shoot, hits it against the face of Billy Crellin. And then the goalkeeper for Accrington makes a big save, but it might fall kindly for Chiesa here. He does, he takes a shot, it took a deflection off Ferran Rawson and goes out for a corner kick on this near side. I'll finish the lineup. The midfield quartet now, midfield for Liverpool looks like this. Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton. Diogo Jota dropping back in there as well into a 10 position. Chiesa playing on the right, Engamoa playing on the left, and Nunez through the centre. I'll do Accrington in just a second, but a fast start from Liverpool, Dean Ashton.
Very much so, yeah. Trent getting that space once again to find a pass for Nunez. Tried to poke it through. Good save from Crellin, and then Chiesa was blocked.
Here's the corner by Alexander-Arnold to the far post, and Elliott trying to get on the end of that. It's cleared away and pushed out towards the halfway line. There is a problem for Endo inside the penalty area. Not Endo, it's who's that inside the penalty area who's gone down? Jarell no, I'm not sure it is it? Who's gone down? Is it Quansah?
It is, 'cause he's got those orange boots on.
Oh yes, he's gone down and he's holding the back of his leg here. Doesn't look particularly no, it's Darwin Nunez who's gone down. Quansah's over on the far side in the same orange boots.
Damn.
Yes. You thought you'd got that one, didn't you?
I thought I'd done it with the orange boots.
No, it's Nunez who's down, holding his left ankle, and he's hurt himself after going up for a challenge from that corner. Here is the Accrington lineup now. Accrington have Billy Crelling in goal, Donald Love, Rawson, Orr and Woods. There's a sort of back four that swings into a 5, joined by Josh Woods from the right-hand side. Liam Coyle and Alex Henderson have come on in midfield at half-time to supplement Dan Martin. Tyler Wharton and Sean Worley are the 2 up top. This is Talksport, and we're live at and it is absolutely freezing here today at Anfield. So the players will want to keep warm down in front of us as they wait for this injury to be treated. Walsall 2, Tranmere 1. Half-time in Scotland, Ross County 0, Celtic 1. And we will welcome our listeners to Sirius XM FC, listening across North America today, wherever you are in that country. Thank you very much for tuning in to us here this afternoon from Anfield, where it is about -4 degrees today here in the northwest of England. The sun trying to peer through the clouds. It's very misty and hazy. There's a white dusting all over the land. as Winter really snaps into gear. Liverpool snapped into gear twice, and they've scored twice here in the first half, leading against Accrington by 2-0. And Dean Ashton, what are you expecting from Liverpool in the second half?
Well, you're expecting a bit of intensity to the play. You know, you've still got pretty much a full house here at Anfield. People are turning up and expecting a certain level of performance from their side, and there shouldn't really be any excuse if you haven't played a lot for the intensity to drop, and they didn't show enough of that in the first half. Kind of, you know, masked that with the Trent Alexander-Arnold goal, but needs to be better.
4 minutes gone second half. Ball headed forward by Henderson. It finds Worley. Worley takes it down through the centre circle for Accrington. On the attack now. They work the ball wide towards the right as they look at it. It's crossed into the box by Josh Woods towards the back edge of the penalty area. It might come through to Ben Woods here, who's right-footed shot. Clattens into Trent Alexander-Arnold. Martin's trying to get it under control. He's got 3 players around him, and eventually they get it clear, Liverpool. But that's another chance for Accrington Stanley. You know, they are the 4th-tier entertainers, Dean. Games involving Accrington in League 2 this season have seen the second most goals of any team in that league. Only Grimsby have seen more. Yeah, granted, a lot of them have gone in their own net, but they've scored quite a few as well.
Yes, they have. It was a good opportunity for Ben Woods as it came all the way through the Liverpool defence towards him. He cut it onto his right foot and just hit it into the Liverpool defenders. Just needed to do a little bit better there to arc it round those red shirts.
Here is Henderson trying to skip his way into an advanced position. The 20-year-old whose only goal so far this season has come against Grimsby. He's a graduate of the Accrington Academy. Endo has just gone in front of Woods over on the far side. Josh Woods is putting pressure on Endo in the left full-back position. He manages to clear only as far as Donald Love, but his header is straight to Jota, mopped up by Ferran Rawson, cleared away but only as far as Alexander-Arnold, who moves it quickly down the right-hand side looking for Chiesa, who skips over the ball and runs into the right-wing position now. Federico Chiesa for Liverpool, into the box on the outside of Ben Woods, the defender, gets to the bar line, produces a cross into the 6-yard box, headed away by Donald Love, who was watching it all the way and then prodded it clear up towards the middle of the Accrington half. And then Tyler Wharton does really well to dive in and keep the move alive and keep Accrington in possession up inside Liverpool territory.
Well, I thought Chiesa did brilliantly there. Didn't just flash it across, just waited and dinked it into a great area. Literally nobody there. Nunez was gambling that it was going to be flashed across towards the back post. That's what he's so good at, Chiesa, is facing those full-backs up and going either way.
It was a bit of a no-brainer move, really, because he only cost 10 million quid. And that, at this level, for a player of his talent, is an absolute bargain if you can get some minutes out of him.
And he is a super talented player. It's just those injuries that he's had maybe has meant that he's not been as ready to play probably as he'd have liked.
Yeah. You hope it hasn't diminished his ability to play regularly. It's only his 5th appearance for Liverpool today. It's a little bit casual from Jota, but Jota has gone out of a tight spot by Gerald Quansah. Out it goes to Tsimikas. Tsimikas forward, down the left, looking for Rio Ngamoa. Cut out by Donald Love. Helped forward towards Tyler Wharton, who just sort of bundled his way past Endo. And it's guided all the way back to Kelleher. There's a bit of a press going on from Accrington, but Dan Martin can't dispossess Trent Alexander-Arnold. It goes out to the wide left position in the fullback area. Tsimikas kicks it clear. Ferran Rawson forward, falls to Martin again, slips it through, and then is just a little bit too eager to get it through to Sean Worley, who had made a really good run from outside to in, and it caused a real problem for the Liverpool backline.
Oh, it was a chance. It's a real chance for Martin just to play that pass to Worley. He'd made a really clever run and was free. If the ball was perfect, he could have just took the strike on straight away. It was just overhit. They're the moments. They're the key moments, and maybe just the slight difference that we really do see.
Rio Ngamoa is the 2nd youngest player ever to play for Liverpool. He is the youngest ever player to play in the FA Cup at 16 years, 4 months and 13 days. He would be the youngest ever goal scorer should he get on target here today. Just 16 years of age. What a opportunity it is for him today. An opportunity for some of these Accrington players to show their quality as well. They've settled very much into a back four in this second half, with Josh Woods pushing further up on that right-hand side, Dean, as they look to try and find a way back into this game. They trail by 2-0. We've played 53 minutes on Talksport. We're round the grounds with Ian Danta from 2:30 this afternoon. Then we've got Manchester City against Salford live right here. Jim Proudfoot and Troy Deeney, your commentary team, from 5:45 tonight. And then tomorrow, Tamworth against Tottenham live from the Lamb. And I am very much looking forward to going up to the television gantry, which has been built on top of the main stand and I think is hanging in the air tomorrow lunchtime. Here is Elliott, lovely, on towards Alexander-Arnold down the right hand side. His second cross is a better one, but it's headed away by the retreating Martin. It comes back out to the right hand side. Chiesa loops it forward. It's away by Josh Woods, and then Martin will get it clear, but only as far as Morton. They're struggling a little bit to get the ball out of harm's way, and then Ferran Rawson comes across and kicks it as far as Arne Slot, who picks the ball up in the technical area and gets Liverpool moving again.
That was proper play, though, from Liverpool. There was 3 Cruyff flicks in a row. I think it was Elliott, Nunez and Chiesa all just flicking it on towards each other, and then Alexander-Arnold was through. It was a really good block from Zach Orr in there to stop that cross going in first time.
Yeah, away from football, apparently Zach Orr is really the most relaxed person ever, but he is very much switched on when it comes to defending. Here is Henderson with a little flick of his own into Martin, who's played it into the left channel, looking for the run of Wharton. Wharton's got there, played it towards Quansah, who's nudged it out for a throw-in to Accrington Stanley on this near side, the left, as they look at it.
That was lovely from Martin, though, wasn't it? A little outside of the foot with a bit of check on it to stop it going out. Stop it.
Yeah. One for the cameras there, I think. Here is Liam Coyle, picking the ball up to the left of the centre circle and switching the play to the right, and Josh Woods. Woods now trying to skip past one challenge and then a second. It bounces kindly for Love. Love trying to get to the byline. He touched it off Tsimikas, and that's going to go out for a corner to Accrington Stanley.
Did well there, really good switch of play. Bit of luck, wasn't it, as it ricocheted off Josh Woods and bounced off Tsimikas as well for a corner. Now, can you make the most of a set play if you're Accrington? These are your moments, these are your chances.
They call him the mood lifter, Josh Woods. He certainly lifted the mood of those fans behind the goal, the 4,700 who have made the journey from Accrington. Here is the corner, far side, whipped in towards the 6-yard box, and Woods heads the ball. Josh Woods against Diogo Jota, and it goes behind and away for a second successive corner.
Well, they're very lucky, Liverpool, there. Jota knows nothing about it. The ball's beyond him. Josh Woods looks to head it back, and there was, I think it was Zach already there just to tap in front of Kelleher, and it just bounced off Jota's knee and went behind. Very lucky.
Short corner taken quickly into Josh Woods, back to the left-hand side. Woods has got it inside the box now, tries to shoot, it's tipped over the top by Kelleher. It's a super save. Well, he might have hit the top of the crossbar, actually. Kelleher's hand certainly went up to try and support it, but it goes over the top. But he has absolutely thwacked that. The former Liverpool trainee going for a short corner, getting the return, running to the edge of the box on the angle, right-footed shot. Yeah, it's hit the top of the crossbar.
Oh, it did. Combination. I'm pretty sure Kelleher does get a tiny touch on it with his fingertips, and then it crashes off the top of the crossbar. What a moment that would have been for Josh Woods. Does really clever short corner with Worley, gets the reverse pass, fakes to cross, cuts inside on his right foot, strikes brilliantly towards the roof of the net, and a combination of Kelleher and the crossbar denies him.
Well, the professional barber was cutting through the Liverpool defence there, wasn't he? Here is Tsimikas over on the far side. Might have been a little heavy challenge by Worley on Harvey Elliott on this near side. There are going to be a couple of changes here. Bradley and McConnell coming on. Blackburn lead Middlesbrough by 1-0. Andy Vyman has scored with 20 minutes to go. And there is a change here. The change, Bradley and McConnell. Elliott's gone down. Still waiting for treatment for him.
Yeah, he was just caught by Henderson with the trailing leg, and just Elliott's ankle just got caught almost underneath him. And just hope it's not that ankle. As such for Harvey Elliott, as we know, his previous injury.
Trent Alexander-Arnold's going to come off for Bradley, and the other change, McConnell is coming on for Tyler Morton, I think. They're the two changes that we expect to see in the next few moments for Liverpool. And meanwhile, I'll tell you about the Talksport Breakfast Show with Ali McCoist and Jeff Stelling, back together again Monday morning from 6 o'clock. When you wake up, they'll be there to accompany you to whatever it is you're doing, going to work or school or college, or whether you're out for a early morning run, or if you're like Dean Ashton, you're in the gym at 5 o'clock, making sure that you're pumping the guns to get ready for the summer. I know that he has been the poster boy for Get Fit January. How's that going, by the way?
I started in December.
Yeah. What, December the 30th or something like that? Because you had a great Christmas.
I'm giving it a right go.
Let's not lie. You gave Christmas a right go as well. You went to every Christmas party between Norwich and Liverpool, didn't you? Even if you didn't work for the company or know anybody there.
Why not?
Why not indeed? Off comes Alexander-Arnold and Morton then. That's the confirmation of that. And the change for Accrington, Stanley. That is just about to happen. They're going to make some changes as well. Looks as if who are they going to bring on here? Accrington, Stanley. They're going to bring Conor O'Brien on. And those changes that we mentioned before confirmed for Liverpool. Harvey Elliott has had his treatment. Trent Alexander-Arnold has just gone straight down the tunnel. So has Morton, actually. I think that's to go and get warm more than anything else.
Yeah, I would expect so. Who's earmarked the shirt? That's what we want to
know. Well, they might not get it now because he might just tuck it away, might get changed.
No. That'll be pre-planned, I'm pretty sure.
Here is Endo, sending it back towards Kelleher. Kelleher under pressure from the physical specimen who is Tyler Wharton, who is a strapping Yorkshireman, Tyler Wharton. The referee's decided that that deserves a free kick, his little nudge, and that's going to break up the play again, so get a little quick free kick. Yeah, Tyler Wharton, he's got a thick sort of Yorkshire accent, and they all mimic it in the dressing room. I don't think many of them try and take him on, though, because he's a powerhouse. Here is Quanta, deep inside his own half. Half an hour to go. Liverpool leading by 2-0, and have no real appetite, really, to sort of go and completely punish Accrington Stanley. It's been quite a sort of controlled, slow performance, hasn't it, by Arne Slot's team?
Respectful, almost, isn't it? In the way that they've played against Accrington. It's they really haven't properly tested them in terms of the intensity of the play, the quickness of their play. It's been really slow, the build-up, just waiting for the odd opening if it's there. It's been a little strange, to be honest, the performance from Liverpool. It's felt like a game where Arne Slot's basically just giving certain players the time they need on the football pitch.
And there is some time and space for Diogo Jota, who's just rushed his attempt to try and squeeze that through to Darwin Nunez. And it's been picked off by Donald Love, who watched it all the way, and he's done particularly well. It's been sent round the back, though, for Wharton. Wharton's been flagged offside over on the far touchline, and the free kick has been given. It was very tight, that.
It was a really clever run, actually, from Wharton, but again, probably surprised at the pace of Jarrell Quansah, who just stepped across with that big, long-ranging running style that he's got.
Birmingham City lead by 2-0 against Lincoln City, and there was the yellow card for Alex Henderson just moments ago. Some changes here, and on comes Keneally, and off comes Dan Martin, who's done a good job. Seamus Keneally, who is the captain effectively of this football club, he goes into midfield. And the other change is Josh Woods, the former Liverpool trainee, coming off to a round of applause from some of the Liverpool supporters as well, recognise his work here. And he is being replaced too by Connor O'Brien. So a change around for Accrington Stanley as we go into the latter part of the game. Connor O'Brien, who came through the youth systems, quite a few who came through the youth system at Accrington. Been at the club since he was 8. He's a Republic of Ireland international, under 21 international. He was the one who was giving away all the dressing room secrets in the build-up to the game. Here is Endo across to Kwanzaa. Does it make you popular when you're that guy, the sort of the one that has to do that article where you go through all the other players and what they're like?
No, I dreaded it. You just get pelters. Can't please everyone.
Here is Henderson winning the ball back for Accrington. Down the left they come with Worley. Worley looks up. He's on the left touchline. He cuts in past Harvey Elliott, pokes it back into Henderson. Henderson is dispossessed by Kwanzaa. Across comes Ben Woods. It bounces off Connor Bradley and it goes out for another corner to Accrington Stanley, who have had their moments, and Liverpool really have taken their foot off the gas in this second half.
Well, they've allowed Accrington to get up the pitch and win a couple of corners. They've took it short again.
And it's in towards the near post and it's headed over the top. Donald Love, arriving late in the 6-yard box, has headed the ball straight over the top. It was a free header. He will never get a better chance to score against Liverpool.
Well, you won't want to see it again. It's a lovely clipped ball in from Worley. Absolutely perfect. 5 yards out, free header. He's up, he's high enough. He just heads it over. What a disaster of a header that is from Donald Love. It's too easy, really. He just takes his eye off it, heads it over the top. You cannot miss that against a team like Liverpool. What a chance.
Well, when he looks back at that, Donald Love will be heartbroken.
He won't look back at it.
Ever.
It's horrendous.
Ball has been sent out wide towards the left. It's been picked up by Ngamoa, who's cutting on his right foot. Set it back for Diogo Jota. Jota then back to Ngamoa again. He tries to work it wide. Tsimikas has it for Liverpool. They're now on the attack. This is James McConnell just short of the 18-yard box, twisting away from Henderson, poking it through to Nunez. Nunez then gets dispossessed by Henderson. Then Krellin will clear from inside his own 6-yard box upfield. It'll be one in midfield and sent wide towards the right. And Worley's away again. He's got Kwanzaa for company, but he's gone past him. Kwanzaa stuck with him, but he's still got the ball, Worley, down the right-hand side, and Tsimikas has had to come across and help him. He's played it off him, and it's out for a corner.
He's been excellent, hasn't he? He really has been excellent, Sean Worley. Showing his experience, but actually showing his quality. Been excellent on the ball, won his team another corner. It was his cross that Donald Love should have scored with. You know, you talk about half moments. That was a full moment that had to be taken.
Accrington's away form had taken a bit of an upturn before today. 4 wins in their last 9, and they've scored in each of their last 6 FA Cup away games. Ball in towards the near post. Might run loose here. Edge of the box. The ball's cracked in by Henderson. He didn't catch it, and he sort of lost confidence in himself just before he pulled the trigger. And it went bobbling through the box and was cleared away by Liverpool. Up to Harvey Elliott. I think Liverpool have been pretty disappointing, actually, in this second half. Maybe it is because, as we were saying earlier, they know that if they need to, they can just, take it up a couple of gears. But having gone 2-0 up before half-time, you're expecting a little bit more. They certainly threatened that right at the beginning of the second half. But since then, it's Accrington who have been causing more problems than maybe Liverpool expected them to.
And that's why you've got to take that chance. You've got to put the pressure on Liverpool to say, well, can you go and then up it? Or is that an opportunity for us to take advantage of what's been a pretty average performance, especially in the second half from Liverpool with the changes that they've made, and they just didn't take it. What a chance.
Well, Liverpool always expected to sweep Stanley aside. The last time they failed to score an FA Cup home game against the League Two opposition was against Plymouth. I was here for that. That was 0-0 back in 2017. They had their problems with them. They had a problem with Exeter as well not so long ago. Here's a ball into the box, looking for the right-sided midfielder Connor O'Brien. It comes back to the right touchline, and then it's funneled in by Love. Cut out and given away to Chiesa, and Chiesa's got a bit of space behind the midfield, and he can release Darwin Nunez here, and Nunez is running towards the edge of the box. Rawson comes across and does brilliantly. Excellent defending by Ferran Rawson, who got across in front of Darwin Nunez and blocked his shot, drove him wide, And it goes out for a corner away to our right-hand side.
He's got to have more guile than that, Nunez. He's got the pace of Rawson, and he just allows him to get back into position and out-strength him in the end. It's a really good block, but Nunez has got to be cleverer there. He's just got to slow things up or produce a bit of skill and just get away with his pace, and he just doesn't.
When you look at Darwin Nunez, can you identify the problems that he's having? Four goals in 25 appearances before today. That's not enough for someone who got 18 last season. 1 goal in his last 11.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a player that isn't confident, that's for sure, and maybe putting him wide might just take that pressure off him.
Tsimikas into the centre, header away by Rawson. It's going to be collected by Alex Henderson of Accrington on the right-hand side. He tries to get it up towards Conor O'Brien, but McConnell was there for Liverpool, and he guides it back to Conor Bradley, and Liverpool have it on the halfway line. With 21 minutes to go before the conclusion of the match, it's Liverpool 2, Accrington Stanley 0 for a place in the 4th round alongside Everton, have already gone through, Fulham, who have already gone through, Cardiff, who have already gone through, and Aston Villa, who came from behind to beat West Ham last night by 2-1. Wicker Wanderers also through to the next round of the competition. They beat Portsmouth at Adams Park yesterday. Elsewhere, Birmingham about to go through. They're 6 minutes away from beating Lincoln City. Bristol Rovers 2-1 down to Wolves on Talksport 2. Blackburn 1-0 up against Middlesbrough, and in Scotland Celtic are 1-0 up against Ross County, with most of the second half still to go in that game in Dingwall. Here on the left hand side, the ball to the feet of McConnell. He's twisting away from a tight snap of defenders, all in blue, trying to push him out of the pitch. The ball deflects out and away for a throw into Liverpool high up on the left hand side. And it's cut all the way back to Wataru Endo.
It's not been that performance that's gone, let's really entertain these Liverpool supporters that are here. Let's put on a bit of a show. It's not really been that, has it? It's been incredibly slow, the possession that they've kept.
The tempo's been terrible, hasn't it? And actually, the last couple of games from Liverpool haven't been great. I thought this was a chance to sort of snap back into gear. Especially bearing in mind the number of first-team players that they've actually utilised today. It's an opportunity for them, isn't it?
Well, it is, but with the game being the way it is, it then doesn't lend itself for good performances, and you're not doing yourself any favours then when the manager goes, well, hang on, I gave you a chance. You're not starting this game because ultimately you didn't show enough.
Coyle sends it up for an up and under towards the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Wharton went to chase it, but it bounced kindly for Kelleher. Walsall now 3-1 up against Tranmere in League 2. Liverpool about to make a change, and one of the heroes of last year's FA Cup campaign, Jayden Dans, son of Neil Dans, about to come on, scored 2 goals against Southampton, you may remember, in the FA Cup. I think it was 5th round last year. But here come Accrington. O'Brien into the penalty area, looking for Henderson, and Endo had to head it behind and away for a corner, because otherwise that was going all the way through to Alex Henderson. But it's another sign that Accrington aren't finished yet.
Well, they've had more shots in this second half than Liverpool, which says everything about the Liverpool performance. They've allowed Accrington to be ahead in that stat.
Well, Rio Engamoa has played a grand total of 72 minutes here today. 72 minutes on his full debut for Liverpool. 16 years of age, replaced by Jayden Dans for the last 20 minutes or so, and I think he did enough to sort of show the kind of talent that's still in the Liverpool academy. Jayden Dans, who actually, bearing in mind that he's still quite a young figure, Jayden Dans is absolutely huge, and he's on to try and help defend this corner as it's whipped in towards the far post, but it's far too heavy and it's going to float out the other side, and it was overhit by Ben Woods, and it dribbles behind and away for a goal kick. And I mentioned Jayden Dans being young. He's still only 18 years of age. He hasn't played much this season, only 4 minutes. But he is he's a huge, towering figure, and he's gone down the middle now.
I mean, he played a key role in the end, didn't he, in the League Cup final?
He did, yeah.
I mean, at that point when they were having to play some of the kids.
Kelleher trying to control the ball under pressure from Worley, and almost sort of played it into an area where Worley could snatch it. Yeah, he threw the kids on in the League Cup final, and Jayden Dans was one of those, and he won a League Cup winners' medal as a result. He knows how to get through a cup tie, that's for sure. Ball sent out towards this right-hand side. Chiesa trying to come in off the touchline. He beats Ben Woods to the ball, gets it through the legs of the goalkeeper, but it's into the side netting from Chiesa, and it's out for a corner kick. Well, he's had a couple of sighters now, has Federico Chiesa.
Excellent ball from McConnell. Just reversed it over the top behind Ben Woods towards Chiesa, who gets it under control and just looks to fire it between the legs. It's a really good save from Krellin. Comes off the goalkeeper's calf and goes wide, otherwise that's going in the back of the net.
Here is the corner to be taken by Tsimikas near side in front of the Kop. Well, Liverpool leading by 2-0 on Talksport. It's deep towards the far post. Krellin punches it away and it goes out for a throw over on the far side. It's still 2-0 to Liverpool in the FA Cup. Game day live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. Pleased to say now that everybody on the field of play is over the age of 18, which wasn't always the case today. Throw-in to be taken over on the far side by Tsimikas in towards Jayden Danns. Danns couldn't hold it up, and it's going to spill kindly here for Accrington. Tyler Wharton trying to escape, but Diogo Jota and McConnell trying to put pressure on him. It goes back to Zach Orr, who just a little bit concerned, but then manages to accelerate away from Diogo Jota and get the ball up towards Walton, who then tries to lay it off into midfield, but Seamus Keneally should really have squeezed that down the left channel. Didn't quite have the radar to spot the run of Alex Henderson.
And that's what you'll learn from an Accrington perspective is, which players can handle when they're under severe pressure from the Liverpool press, who can then still handle the ball. Henderson's done well since he's come on. Worley's been excellent as well.
Yeah, it's been a real thorn in the Liverpool side, has Sean Worley, 37-year-old forward. 15 minutes to go. Liverpool 2, Accrington Stanley 0. Accrington went through a bit of drama last season. The divorce of Andy Holt and John Coleman was messy. It mustn't be estimated what both have done for the club. And just over a month ago, back in December, Andy Holt announced that he's going to be stepping down as the club's chairman towards the end of 2025. He's going to continue to be the owner, but it will take a step back from the day-to-day running of the club. The club's managing director, David Burgess, who became vice chairman on January the 1st, will work closely with Holt before becoming the chairman when Holt decides to take a back seat at the end of the season. Here is Danns into Jota. Back into midfield, and Danns has pinched it, and Danns has got away from another tackle, and he's fed the ball out to Chiesa. Chiesa into the penalty area, should finish it, he don't, but Jayden Danns does. It comes off Billy Krellin and into Jayden Danns, and his relationship with the FA Cup continues to thrive. Off the bench to score again in this competition, and Jayden Danns makes it Liverpool 3, Accrington Stanley 0.
Well, he makes it, and he eventually finishes. It's brilliant footwork in the middle of the pitch from Jayden Danns, just to get away from two Accrington defenders. Just takes it on the half turn, and then once he's away, just nips it away from one defender, jumps out of the way of the other. Lovely pass in towards Chiesa, who's got to finish really. It's a good save from Krellin off his chest, but then there's Jayden Danns following in. He didn't just watch his pass and stand there, he just made sure he got in the box. And when it came towards him, he just coolly, crisply side-footed it in the back of the net. And didn't he celebrate it like he should do at his age, scoring at the Kop end with a tasty knee slide.
He has scored 3 goals for Liverpool, all of them in the FA Cup, all of them at the Kop end. Off comes Tyler Wharton, on comes... I think that's Kelsey Mooney is coming on. His dad scored a winner here for Watford back in the day. Tommy Mooney. He comes on for the final 12 or so, 13 minutes or so at the end of this game. But Jayden Danns has made it 3-0 to Liverpool. There's no way back for Accrington now. And there's going to be another change here for Liverpool, where on comes... well, I don't know, but they got the numbers completely wrong there. But off comes Wataru Endo. And on comes Trey Nioni. Endo, who had taken the captain's armband when Trent Alexander-Arnold went off, has given it to Diogo Jota. And on comes Trey Nioni. Endo's done a good job of playing at centre-half today. Now, Nioni's going to go into the centre of midfield, so I think James McConnell's going to go in at centre-half alongside Kwanzaa. It might look a little bit makeshift, but Liverpool will feel that the job is already done, Dean Ashton.
I think, of course. It's just about now seeing it out from a Liverpool's perspective. But I think, look, Jayden Danns has shown a bit of intensity that's been lacking, actually, in the game, with the way he burst forward, the way he created the chance for Chiesa, and the way he then burst into the box to make sure he scored, and the celebration showed kind of what needed to be shown more from more of the Liverpool players in terms of taking your opportunity when it comes it's been in these sort of games.
Too tepid from everybody else, hasn't it, so far today? But they might just whack it up a gear here as Kwanzaa sends it down the right. Chiesa, Danns makes a run towards the near post. Chiesa overruns it a little bit. It might bowl up in front of Nunez. It's away by Donald Love and out towards the far side for Accrington, and they just about escaped that. But another injection in pace just caused Accrington a real problem with 10 minutes to go. In Scotland, Ross County 1, Celtic 1. It's 2-1 now to Birmingham in the FA Cup. Lincoln have got one back late on with a penalty. Here it's 3-0 to Accrington. And Liverpool going through, you'll find out who else is going to go through with Ian Danter from 2:30 as he takes you around the grounds. Blackburn are through. They beat Middlesbrough by a goal to nil. Wolves are still 2-1 up in injury time against Bristol City. And there are quite a few games off up and down the country. If you've planned to go to a game today, just check it before you leave the house. Ball on the right-hand side, collected and swung in by O'Brien, flicked away by Bradley. A chance to break for Liverpool now after an Accrington attack, and here's Chiesa again, racing away over the halfway line. He's got Nunez, Jota and Danns in support. On the near side is Harvey Elliott. Elliott picks it up, right-footed ball in towards Danns, who he tried to do a little flick between his legs to send it home, but he didn't catch it right and ended up hitting it against the inside of his thigh.
Oh, and he just got a look there from Diogo Jota, because if he misses it, Jota's just there to tap it in at the back post. It's a great break by Liverpool, and Chiesa involved again. A nice pass to Elliott. And then Danns, in that position, of course, he's not going to not take it with the flick that was on. But Jota was there just to tap in if he'd have missed.
Here is McConnell for Liverpool, who lead by 3-0. Jayden Danns there with another opportunity to put them further ahead. Trey Nioni has put the ball straight out of play. He was one of the youngest players ever to play for Liverpool as well when he came into the team last year. He's still a very young man. He's only 17 years of age. The young midfielder is a great prospect, really well thought of. Started in midfield in the League Cup against Southampton. Here is Warlick trying to shoot from range. It takes a deflection off McConnell. Goes out to O'Brien on the right-hand side for Accrington. Back to Love. 10 yards short of the penalty area. The ball is at the feet of Keneally. He sweeps it wide. The cross from Love is blocked, and Liverpool get it clear to halfway, and Darwin Nunez infield towards Nioni. When Darwin Nunez goes back in after this game, what is he going to be thinking? Because Jayden Danns has only been on the pitch a couple of moments and he's had 2 good chances. He scored one of them in a fashion that you would expect Darwin Nunez to take chances. He's sort of done what Darwin Nunez didn't do, which was pick the ball up, make something happen and then finish it off.
I mean, look, I don't think his confidence could be much lower, particularly Darwin Nunez. And to then come away from a game like this against a side like Accrington Stanley, where you're thinking before the game, I'm sure he would have been thinking great opportunity for goals, 1, 2, maybe 3, and to come away with nothing I think would be a big blow for him.
Well, they're not going to come away with nothing, but Napoli are about to lose a major asset. Talksport is the home of all the transfer stories, and one interesting story which has just reached us is that Antonio Conte has said that Kvicha Kvaratskhelia has asked the club to sell him. Conte has said, and you know what Conte's like, he doesn't mince his word. He asked the club to be sold. I'm disappointed. It was a bolt from the blue. I'm taking a step back. I don't want to think I've chained him here. We're losing an important player. I think that PSG have agreed terms with the player and want to make a He wants to make the move to France. Liverpool and Chelsea haven't made an approach, but they have been linked, and so have Manchester United in recent days. But that's Kavica Kvaratskhelia, who plays for Georgia and did play for Georgia in the European Championships, has told Napoli that he wants the club to sell him this month. Interesting. More rumours and coverage of the transfer window available on our YouTube channel every Tuesday and Friday in Alex Crook and Jim White's Transfer Notebook. Liverpool's crowd just upping the ante here. West Ham are going to need a striker, by the way, in the transfer window. Is that why you're getting fit?
Yeah. Couldn't do much worse, could I?
Ouch. Ball kick towards the edge of the penalty area. Rawson heads it down. It's into the arms of Kelleher. Oh, that was a little bit stinging, that, wasn't it? Dean Ashton. Bradley. Liverpool leading by 3-0. It's quite remarkable, really, that Liverpool only bought 2 players in the summer, and yet they've engineered this change where they have seamlessly got to the top of the Premier League and the Champions League. I just think that now, maybe they do need a little injection of something going into the second half of the season, because they didn't have a great performance against Manchester United. It wasn't brilliant against Tottenham either. It hasn't been at the top level here today, and you might excuse that with the changes and with the nature of the competition, but well, there's been a few worrying signs, I think, that they need to up the ante. And of course, they've got a big game against Nottingham Forest. Not going to be able to have Darwin Núñez for that. He's suspended. He's not going to be able to play in that game. So don't put him in your fantasy team.
No. You just wonder whether there's any movement in terms of, because of the Liverpool squad, whether there is any players, the likes of Núñez maybe, or Elliott, Chiesa as such, that maybe move on to bring in others.
Yeah.
I think, if anything, you might start to see some activity towards the end of the window with that.
Here is Conor Bradley down the right-hand side again. Zach Orr comes across and nudges it back towards his goalkeeper. Adrian was talking about Accrington as well, and about this being a shop window for some of their players. He's certainly been in that today. Here is Conor Bradley on the near side, but Orr has dealt with it. He's then played it against Conor Bradley and then gone down under pressure from Bradley. It's going to be a free kick in front of the Kop, just left of the 6-yard box. I think Zach Orr's looked quite an accomplished defender.
Yeah, 21 years old and been good on the ball, actually. He's been the one that they've looked for to then try and play into midfield. Okay, they've not kept much possession, but him in particular has looked comfortable under pressure.
Problem for Accrington is he's on loan from Southampton, so they own his rights. Came through the Arsenal academy. He looks like he's come through the Arsenal academy, doesn't he? Well, that's a misfield by McConnell. Picked up and sent towards O'Brien on the edge of the penalty area. Sent back by Mooney towards him, but he miscontrolled and Tsimikas came across. Ferran Rawson has done well. He's another one that might engender a bit of interest. He's 28 years of age. I know that Alex Henderson, who's come off the bench, is well thought of. Conor O'Brien, who's come off the bench too, will have value. Here is Jota trying to win the ball. Henderson again showing his physical side, looked to win the ball back, but Nione brings it clear. It's picked up by Conor Bradley of Liverpool on the right side, flicked through by Elliott towards Núñez, who's trying to get the better of Rawson. Orr does well again, brilliantly, but still comes through to Jota, who takes it wide of the goal. He needs backup here. Elliott provides it, so does Chiesa. Chiesa onto his left foot, draws it down, hits it against the foot of the post, and it bounces away to safety from Accrington's perspective. It's a really good effort from Chiesa, because that was a tight situation to get a shot away. He dragged it down, drew it down low towards the goalkeeper's left, and it hit the foot of the post.
He's been good, Chiesa, since coming on. Lively, positive, aggressive in the way that he's attacked. He does the right thing. He wants, as if he's going to... He cuts on into his left foot, looks as if he's going to curl it to that far post, and instead, as Rawson goes to block that shot, he just reverses it through the defender's legs, away from Krellin, but hits the base of the post. Really unlucky.
Liverpool 3, Accrington 0. And here is Worley trying to score for Accrington from the edge of the area with a right-footed shot, which is straight at Kelleher. It's another example of the threat that they've posed in the game. They've had a lot of shots, not many of them on target, but they've had opportunities. They've hit the bar. They've hit the top of the bar from Josh Woods. They've had shots from Worley. They've had other chances too. Donald Love should have scored with a header, but they haven't managed to beat the Liverpool back line. But they've sent a few warnings, that's for sure. And if they keep playing like this, they won't have too many problems with worries about relegation, I wouldn't have thought, from League Two.
No, it's been much improved, hasn't it, from earlier on in the season. Obviously, the 2 wins has given them a confidence boost, of course. But they've done themselves more than proud in this game. Had their opportunities. That was another where it just opened up and you think it's your moment. If you're Sean Worley, he strikes it brilliantly. He actually probably can't believe how well he struck it, but straight at Kelleher. Either side, and he's got a real chance of scoring.
Jayden Danns has it into the centre circle now, looking up, tries to turn under pressure, plays it up towards the middle of the park, and Chiesa shrugs off one challenge, Henderson snaps in and wins the other, and then O'Brien just seems to try and run through Tsimikas, and then gets into a bit of a love cuddle, and the two of them end up having to be separated by the referee, who gives a free kick in Liverpool's direction.
That was ridiculous, wasn't it? Lovely couple of pirouettes between the two of them, arm in arm.
Sometimes you just want to get acquainted, don't you? You know, you don't see these players very often. Here is Chiesa from the edge of the area. Oh, he's driven it towards the far corner. He's kissed the inside of the post and in. And Federico Chiesa has his first goal in front of the Kop. And he's been threatening to do that. He's picked that up from 20 yards. He's looked up and he has finished that precisely into the far corner, kissing it off the post, and Liverpool lead by 4-0.
Oh, a really nice moment for a player that struggled with injuries and opportunities. We've been really good since coming on. I mean, really lively. He's shown everything that he's about, which is that energy and taking players on and striking towards goal. He just takes it out of his feet and strikes it brilliantly low, skidding off the icy surface and past Krellin. And once again, the goalkeeper can do nothing as it kisses off the inside of the post. But an interesting celebration and smile from Chiesa.
He's been waiting a long time, really, to impress the Kop. That they've been waiting a long time for him to impress them. I think he's done that. And we've got lots to bring you over the course of the next few hours on Talksport. Ian Danton will host our Game Day live show around the grounds. We'll start our team news roundup at the Vitality Stadium with Ollie Klink.
6 changes for Bournemouth, who've hand starts to youngsters Julio Soler and Ben Winterburn. Max Aarons also plays despite links away from the club. It's 7 changes for West Brom. The likes of Palmer, Malumbi and Madja come out of the side, while fellows Swift and Dieng Garner are among the starters.
Yeah, Max Aarons expected to go to Valencia. He's a former Norwich player, of course, Max Aarons. At Norwich for us today, Mike Sewell.
Well, Norwich make 5 changes from their last gasp comeback win against Coventry. Amankwa Forson, who came off the bench to score both goals, starts, as does on-loan winger Lewis Dobbin in place of the suspended Borja Sainz. Brighton, who have a host of injuries, make 6 changes from the draw with Arsenal. Jason Steele is the captain. Jorginho Ruta replaces the injured Joao Pedro. Also coming in, Enciso, Minter, Matoma and Adam Webster, who makes his first start since a long-term injury. It's Norwich-Brighton at Carrow Road.
To the G-Tech Community Stadium, Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
6 changes for Thomas Franks. Brentford, the most eye-catching to return after 16 months out through injury for Rico Henry, who starts. Plymouth make 4 changes. Morgan Whittaker starts for them.
Here's the corner for Liverpool. Tsimikas to send it into the box. Danns gets up there with a header. It's narrowly wide and it goes out for a goal kick. 92 minutes played here. We've got 5 added, so 3 still to play. Let's go off to the City Ground. Nottingham, Talksport's Mark Wilson.
11 changes for Forest. Ward-Prowse, Awunyi and Yates. Just a few of the names to come in. Wood is on the bench. Paul Trollope, Richie Carl and Mick Harford take temporary charge of Luton. 1 change for them from loss at QPR. New signing Isaiah Jones replaces Chong. At the City Ground, it's Nottingham Forest against Luton.
Just kicked off at Leicester. Jeff Peters.
Yeah, 4 minutes gone. Leicester 0, QPR 0. Leicester have gone strong. 3 changes, about as strong as they probably could do today. QPR 6 changes actually. Ronnie Edwards makes his first start, the on-loan Southampton defender. Leicester 0, QPR 0.
Chelsea against Morecambe is underway at 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. Join Alex Crook and Perry Groves for that. Here it's just petering out as Accrington about to lose by 4-0. It's a little bit harsh on Accrington, I think.
I think they've deserved a goal, especially this second half with the moments that they've had. Hitting the crossbar, I mean, Donald Love had to have scored. Just absolutely had to.
Problem here for Billy Crellin, who's got a little bit of cramp away to our right-hand side. Just in that team news that we did get, though, great news about Rico Henry being back in the team.
Yeah, almost a forgotten man, but what a talent he is to get him back. They've really struggled in terms of that balance. I know that Lewis Potter's done an incredible job filling in at left-back for Thomas Frank.
Yeah, but good news to see that Rico Henry is back. We've got a delay here while Billy Crellin gets some treatment on the pitch for the last few moments. And the game's nearly finished. He just needs to get through the last few minutes. They're surely not going to have to make a change in the goal, are they?
Now's the time. Now's the time to go over to the player and just say, by the way, as soon as the final whistle goes, shirt please, shirt please.
Is that the tactic, is it?
Well, obviously, when we played Everton at Goodison Park...
Whose did you get?
Well, Paul Gascoigne. So I'm 18... Paul Gascoigne's there. I run straight over to him, ask for his shirt. He gives me the shirt. Paul Gascoigne's giving me a shirt. And as I'm walking off, their kit man comes over, snatches it off me, and says he's giving too many away. And I never got it back.
You are kidding me.
No.
So you never got that Paul Gascoigne shirt?
I never got it.
You walked away empty-handed?
Yeah, and obviously I'm 18. I'm not going to then have a go at their kit man. So I just let it happen.
How big were you at 18?
Size I am now, just maybe 3 stone lighter.
What are you doing?
I know, but I just honestly, it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life.
I'm pleased you learnt to stand up for yourself after that. We've nearly played our 5 minutes of added time.
What a shirt that would have been.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, by the way, with a sought-after shirt after he scored his 16th goal out of 21 for Liverpool from outside the box. Now, that is pretty amazing, the ratio.
Yeah.
Here is Elliott under a little bit of pressure, trying to squeeze the ball forward, but Henderson has stopped him from going too far. Lewis Smith, the referee, just looks at his watch. We've played our 5 minutes of added time, and that is that. Liverpool top the Premier League, they top the Champions League, and they're through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. They changed their team a bit today, and even then, League 2, Accrington Stanley couldn't quite get anything to take home to the Crown Ground with them. They had their chances, though, that is for sure. Donald Love certainly having the best of those, but they didn't get on the score sheet because Liverpool, when they wanted to, went up the gears. These two were linked by a commercial in the 80s, but this was a real advert for Stanley and their hard-working group more than anything else. A day where the scoring started through Diego Jota and Federico Chiesa finished it exactly. Liverpool 4, Accrington Stanley 0.
So Liverpool go through, as do Birmingham, who beat Lincoln 2-1. Wolves, who won 2-1 at Bristol City, live on Talksport 2. And Blackburn, who beat Middlesbrough away by a goal to 0. Andy Vyman with the winner. And we've got a goal in a 3rd round tie that kicked off just a few minutes ago at Leicester. Jeff Peters.
It's Leicester 1, QPR 0. James Justin has scored it. Free kick. Swept, dinked into the penalty area. Vardy went for it, but James Justin stretched out a leg and he poked it past the goalkeeper. He's come in for a lot of stick from supporters for perceived mistakes by him this season, but he's given the Foxes the lead after 8 minutes. Leicester 1, QPR 0.
And in League 1, they're still playing. Rotherham lead Bolton 2-0. And in League 2, the leaders Walsall 4-1 up on Tranmere. I mentioned at half-time, Tranmere's assistant manager, Neil Dans, is the father of Jayden Dans, who came on here at Anfield, Dean Ashton, and he will be well pleased. The kind of ball fell into his path, he slammed it home, but his celebration said it was a Puskás contender. He absolutely loved scoring it.
He did, and so he should. You know, at such a young age, to score at the Kop end in any competition, you've got to enjoy that. And he made it himself. He came on, he showed energy, showed quality, and he got in the box and you know, did what every good forward should do, which is follow in and get himself a goal. And rightly so. That's what you want to see. If you're a Liverpool supporter, you want to see a player enjoy scoring a goal and desperate to score for the club.
And Chiesa, I think it was almost like a muted celebration. He was clearly very happy to score a goal, and it was a really good goal as well. But I think he's just been so frustrated since he's been at Anfield, just not to get on the pitch, that it was like, yeah, well, I could have been doing this all season. That's what the celebration said to me.
I agree. It's almost was as if to say, well, you know, I am Federico Chiesa, I am a top player and probably should have had more minutes. I thought he was excellent. I thought he was one of the best players actually on the day in terms of coming on. I mean, he could have had two or three easily, couldn't he, with the chances that he had, the way he went at the fullback when he came on. And hopefully he's the one that's really probably shown the manager actually that he deserves maybe more opportunities with that performance today.
Well, I nudged you, didn't I? I think they were 3-0 up when Chiesa came on. I wonder how Accrington are feeling about Chiesa coming on at the 3-0. And we're looking now at the Accrington players who've gone over to their fans away to our left in the Annie Road stand and are applauding them. And the fans have played their part and Accrington played their part as well. And there's sliding doors moments in games. At 2-0, Donald Love has that header. And it looks for all the world like it's just going to be planted into the back of the net, and suddenly you wonder if some of those Liverpool youngsters will get very nervous. But he puts it over the former Manchester United man. And tell me, Dean, I'm sure, I haven't seen it, but I'm sure you've missed a sitter or two in your time. How long does it stay with you? Will he sleep tonight? Will he ever sleep again?
He'll never forget that. He won't. It's so brutal. It is so brutal because it was there, wasn't it? You've just got to head that down and in. The goalkeeper's probably not going to save it from how close it was, and you put it over the bar. You know, when it can be a moment that you can then watch back for years and tell your kids and your grandkids about, that's gone. And he'll never ever forget it, and he'll never be allowed to by all his mates, because it was such a great chance. And you're right, it would have been really interesting to see what the reaction would have been from the Liverpool players if they'd have scored there, or the reaction from Accrington Stanley, because at that point they really had done themselves proud in actually, you know, showing a bit of fight in that second half, I thought.
Yeah, and I think the chances are Liverpool would have regrouped and said, look, it's just a minor blip, let's crack on with the job and let's see it through, and they might have won 5 or 6-1, who knows, we will never know now. But I always say, when you're, and I've been in this position many times, when you're a fan of a small club going away to a big club in a cup tie, you just want one moment to say, oh, do you remember that time? Do you remember that feeling, how we leapt around like maniacs when Donald Love headed that goal to put us back in the game at Anfield? And they've kind of been robbed of that moment, those fans. It does look like the players have enjoyed their experience of being here. And there's no doubt about it, Sam just said it, this scoreline does Accrington Stanley a complete disservice, doesn't it?
Massively. I think if this game would have ended 2 or 3-1, I think that would have been a fairer reflection, really, on what had been created and the way that they play. Liverpool were pretty poor, to be honest, in large parts of the game, and Accrington tried to take advantage the best they can. I kept noticing you next to me that those key moments where all it's going to take is a better touch or the right pass, you know, or the header, you know, these key moments. You mentioned it before the game. They have to be perfect in a game like this, and they just weren't, and it wasn't to be their day. But you're right, I think they've fully enjoyed their experience.
And even though they put in a great effort, just seeing some footage back, they hit the bar, as well as that love chance as well. You can see that difference in those moments between those top-level elite players, even the youngsters who are at Anfield and trying to come through and trying to burst into the first team. You can see the difference in the quality, why certain players never stayed at the top level and have worked their way down to League 2 level, bottom half of League 2 level. That's the little difference. They're full of endeavour, full of action, full of heart as well, and they have quality. To be a professional footballer, I always say this, whatever level, to be a professional footballer is something absolutely extraordinary. It's an incredible achievement to have a career as a professional footballer at whatever level. But you can see the difference between the very top players and the League 2 players.
Yeah, and that's what they'll feel. They'll go away and they will realise that there's a reason why they are at the level that Accrington are. There is a reason. That doesn't mean you can't continue to get better and maybe move up the leagues, or you might go down. But ultimately, you're there right now for a reason. And there was moments where that was clear. And then you see the Trent goal and the Chiesa goal where it just takes a moment of real quality and it's in the back of your net. And that is ultimately the difference. But what a day it's been for them. And like we're looking down now and they're looking up to their families and it would have been a massive occasion for them. It's easy to forget just how big the occasion leading up to this will have been for these players and their families, and I think they'll be very proud of their sons and brothers and sisters.
Yeah, brilliant day for everybody involved with Accrington Stanley, even though they've been beaten 4-0. Just seeing the Donald Love header again. Do you actually get... People will be saying to him, when he turns up for the next home game at Accrington, there'll be fans saying to him, "Oh, what if you'd scored that header?" Those questions, I don't think people realise how brutal those questions are to players.
I know. Like I said, they're the moments. You can either be the hero or you can probably be the villain by missing out. I hope it doesn't affect him, because he was pretty good in the rest of the game. And for anyone that does want to know, by the way, Liam Coyle has got Trent's shirt.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because Trent came out, flip-flops on, and just had a little hug with Liam Coyle and gave him his shirt. So that was obviously preordained.
Well, Liam Coyle was with him in the Liverpool Academy all those years ago. I thought John Doolan, having worked with Trent, might have bagged it, but fair play to him, he's let a player have it. And Liam Coyle, who was a sub, has got it. They were together. In fact, Liam Coyle was basically brought up very close to the Anfield training ground. Mel Woods used to walk to training when he was in the academy, and he was in there with Trent Alexander-Arnold. So that all makes sense now. Dean Ashton, enjoyed your company. Thank you very much.
Loved it. Loved the FA Cup.
Absolutely. Celtic have gone 2-1 up late on at Ross County. Kyogo yet again. Here at Anfield, we've seen an FA Cup third round tie that went the way we thought it would go. 4-0 flatters Liverpool a bit. There was Stanley spark near Stanley Park in this game, but not enough. Their manager is an Everton fan, and that showed through in the end. The idea of that advert on TV all those years ago was that if you're a youngster on Merseyside and you don't drink milk, you'll only be good enough to play for Accrington Stanley. Sounds like some of the Anfield kids got the message. Tyler Morton, excellent. Jayden Downs with a goal off the bench that he made. 16-year-old Rio Angamar looked very decent out wide. Cream rising to the top. Liverpool through live on Talksport, and they go to Forest in the Premier League Tuesday night. We'll be there for kickoff from 7. Join me at 11 tomorrow morning for Tamworth against Tottenham in the Cup. Next up, though, Chelsea Morecambe isn't on telly, but it is on Talksport 2. Ian Danta is at Norwich Brighton in the Cup, taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. Next on Talksport.